We give praise, glory, and honor and esteem to the Most High Yahweh YAHUSHA HaMashiach, John 5:39. You ain't got nothing tap book with you though. I know you did, cause that nigga leave that thing around like it's nothing. Well, I got to use both of these. You can use one of these. I'm gonna give you this one here. You might be, it's only missing pages in the back. John 5:39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. And that's one thing for certain, two things for sure. Boy, that man, people can manifest it in their works that is not there. But this man say, I know it ain't there. Now he talking to his own people, and he say, I know you. See, look at John 8, what I had mentioned to you earlier. He said, I know you. 8:52. And it says, then said the Yahudim unto him, now we know that thou hast a devil. Abraham is dead, and the prophets, and thou say, if a man keep my saying, he shall never taste of death. Now I'm going to pause right there. You hear this man say, if a man keep my saying. I'm going to go ahead and start with what I was talking about for y'all even walked over here. He said, if a man keep my saying, he'll never taste death, right? Look in Galatians chapter 3 and verse 1. This is important. He said, if a man keep my saying, he ain't never gonna die. Galatians 3 and 1. He said, O foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yahushua HaMashiach have been evidently set forth and crucified among you. This only would I learn of you. Received ye the Ruach by the works of the Torah, or by the hearing of faith? Are you so foolish, having begun in the Ruach, are you now made perfect by the flesh? See, that's what a lot of people sit back and realize. He say, well, you made complete by walking in the Ruach. When we read that Galatians 5, he say, if we live in the Ruach, let us walk in the Ruach. You know what that's actually saying? Based off what we read here in Galatians, you know what that's actually saying? What is that saying?
If you walk according to the Spirit, walk according to His man's instructions and laws, you
Not just
won't fulfill the flesh.
Leviticus where it say, for the law is spiritual.
That's what Paul said in Romans 7:14.
But it say it in Leviticus too. It say that no, it say you shall live.
Yeah, he say, yeah, look at Leviticus 19. He said, if you keep the commandment, you shall even live in them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, because going with that understanding, this type of approach another Israelite or some brothers we know look at it when it say, do you receive the Spirit from the works of law
That's
or
not
by the hearing of faith?
19.
Right.
Yeah, might be 20.
They looking at it like when they say works of law, they're looking at it saying it's talking about. They bring it back to when the Mashiach say it's not what entering you it's not what entering you that defile you will come out of your mouth.
Leviticus 18:5. My apologies. Leviticus 18:5.
Remember he was correcting the Pharisees.
Yeah.
And they said that and the Pharisees told the Mashiach, you have transgressed our law.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about the washings of hands.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, when they say our law, they telling you that it's not the law, but it's our law. So then they'll go back to other Hebrews, they'll go back to Galatians and say, see, they looking at Paul speaking on it in the same instance as their law, the Talmudic law. So they looking at it and say, do you receive the Spirit by following after the Pharisaic or the Talmudic law, the works of law? When you look at that and when you break down that Greek works of law, it's not actually talking about the Torah, it's talking about like the added laws that they added onto. Like, do you receive the Spirit from a tradition, or do you receive the Spirit from the hearing and living or doing the law and having faith? You can look at it.
I understand, like that. But I'm gonna sit back and show you like this here. He say, had you begun in the Ruach, now you trying to go to the flesh.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna show you what he really telling you now.
Hey, see if Will on there.
Hello, Will, you on there? His call.
I'm here.
Yeah, you know.
Did you hear what I was talking about? You probably breaking down a little better. We were talking about the works of law.
Oh, no, I get it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I understand fully. You talking about following traditions of men. You know what I'm saying? But Paul in this instance, he ain't talking about no traditions of men. Because what we gonna sit back and see, like I was just telling you, you don't get the Ruach by keeping no law. He said you begun, he said that you get it by the hearing of faith or by works of the law. You know what I'm saying? So when we turn around, I'm gonna show you people getting it by the hearing the faith. No law was involved. You know what I'm talking about? So the reason what hinders people with it is, of course, you know you're gonna obey because the people already knew the law. They already knew it. You know what I'm talking about? But when you hear the word, do you actually believe it? What did he say? To whom is the arm of Yahuwah is revealed, who have believed our report. So when it comes down to it, niggas actually don't believe. And that's what stops them. You know what I'm saying? That's why, because you don't actually believe, it's why it's no problem for you to go commit a sin. You know what I'm saying? And you looking at why I can't get it, why I can't get it. It's your faith, which is why you can't get it. You know what I'm saying? That's what's not being imparted and being impressed. It's not like I told y'all before, we done looked at stuff, and a nigga think we speaking against the law. Like they did with Paul. He's speaking against the law. He telling people not to keep the customs. We're not telling nobody not to keep the customs. But the completion or the perfection or the wholeness that you see, you're not going to get it from that alone. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to a dude about this last week. He called on my phone, you don't need no law. Boy, you got to have both. But your faith is what's going to move you to actually work the works of the law. You're never going to get the spirit by keeping the law alone. That means there was no need for Hamashiach to come. That means you could have already have obtained it. You know what I'm saying? But definitely breaking the law is definitely going to impede your progress on receiving it. So if you weren't breaking the law and you still hadn't received it, it's because in essence, you don't believe like you supposed to. You don't trust the man fully. You know what I'm saying? You don't trust him fully. That means when you get in a certain situation, you're going to doubt, you're going to do this here, you're going to slide to it, you may not actually believe the testimony like you claim you do. You know what I'm saying? Or when you get tested, all this type of stuff going to go down and you don't get strengthened and perfected in faith. You know what I'm saying? Just like I was telling y'all last night. This man will put a thought in your head just to see if you going to listen. You know what I'm talking about? Just to see if you going to listen. He going to sleep like this here, like, I don't know who that was. I don't know why that even came to my head. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go to dealing with this word long enough and you eating this man words become about. He said the preparation of a heart of man, but the answer of the tongue is from Yahuwah. So I put a word in your mouth. I'll put words in your mouth. If he putting a word in your mouth, guess what that means? He'll put a word in your head. But people don't believe that he do that because so many people claim that the Holy Spirit spoke to me or God spoke to me. You know what I'm talking about? But if you know and you serving him in truth and in righteousness and you know the truth of the word, then you should be able to ascertain his voice when you hear it. Most people can't because you really don't believe in it. See what I'm saying? So when he say something to you, man, y'all wouldn't, that ain't you. I'm telling myself that. Or I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? Whole time, look at this stupid thing right here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when my people sat back and said something during unleavened bread, they messed around and ate a biscuit without realizing it. And I forgot what it was they were dealing with, and they were like, thought came to their head. They was like, nigga, you done already ate a biscuit, nigga. So I'm gonna tell myself that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you could know, like I remember the same person was like, they was on the bus, they heard somebody talking about speaking in tongues, and they just heard the thought of, I don't give my gifts to sinners. And they didn't have the understanding and knowledge and wisdom at that time to be able to make that discernment. You know what I'm saying? That's outside of yourself. You should be able to ascertain after serving Yah after a while. And you got to be able, like I told you last night, be able to discern when it's the whisperer. You know what I'm saying? Because Hashatan can come through and whisper thoughts in your head too. And 9 times out of 10 is to cause you to doubt or to stray away. You know what I'm saying? That's when he come through. That's when he come through. And like I said, he whispers too. He don't come. When y'all come, it's definite. Hashatan come through, he whispers. Yeah, you going down. You might as well do it anyway. Ain't no hope for you. You know what I'm saying? That's how he rolls. 18 and 5. Or 18 and 4. Matter of fact, just make it 1. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharal, and say unto them, I am Yahuwah your Elohim. And after the doings of the land of Mizraim, wherein you dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, ye shall not do. Neither shall you walk in their ordinances. You see what he's telling you? Don't fool with these sinners, man. Just because you see these sinners out here doing this stuff, you bet not do it. Because it's like the Paul told you in 1 Thessalonians 4, he said he has not called us unto uncleanliness, but unto Kadesh. We sit back and see these sinners, and we walk right in their ordinances and walk right in their ways. That's why he turned around and said, how can you love them that hate Yah? Therefore you will have wars. You'll steady have fightings and strivings and strife and all this stuff because you love people who hate me. You know what I'm saying? Even in Judges, he said, how have you done this? You joined yourself to the people of the land. Why have you done this. He's not pleased with that. But we don't be caring. He said, you shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am Yahuwah. So see what he said? You'll live in my statutes, meaning you're going to walk in them. But there was no eternal life for them at this time. You know what I'm talking about? They didn't have that. Let's go back and look at what Paul said in Galatians 3 one more time. Remember now, because Hamashiach say, if any man keep my words, he won't die, right? And that's what he said. Remember what he said in John 11? He said, whosoever believe and live in me, he what? He'll never taste death. And you know what he said right after that? You believe that? Hello? 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 But y'all remember what he said? He said, you believe that? Good key thing, right? He say, whosoever live and believe in me, never taste death. Then he had to turn around and look at him. Do you believe this? You got to unlock that door. Open that door. And you know when it comes down to it, a lot of people don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't believe that. Just outright don't believe it. Hello? You got the other baby. Hello?
Shalom.
Shalom. Like, a lot of people don't believe that. So when you don't believe that, that's going to hinder you. Let's look at Galatians 3 and 1 again and see what he said. He said, O foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yahushua HaMashiach have been evidently set forth, crucified among you. You already said, who done bewitched you? Who done seduced you? See, I got something for that. Because bewitching is seducing somebody. And you know, when you getting seduced, that's what turns you away from the word. Somebody coming through and they seducing you to go differently. When you look at seducing spirits, you know the manifestation of it is it's hypocritical lies and a seared conscience, attractions and fascinations, deception, wandering from the truth, fascination with evil ways, objects, or persons, or seducers or enticers. And that's a work of the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Now, how you going to sit back and you say you believe? Then the book say, if sinners entice thee what? Consent thou not. You know what I'm saying? So when you sit back and look at, if you being seduced to commit sin, that's not Yahuwah. That's a seducing spirit. We're going to sit back and see that since I read it. What I did. First Timothy 4 and 1. Then remember he say, conscience seared with a hot iron. That means your mind is seared with, like he done with you. Then you get you Jeremiah 6 and 27 to go with it. Now, I'm telling you, man, that reprobate mind and Psalms 81 and 5. That reprobate mind ain't nothing to be played with. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't nothing to be played with. Because once you get turned over to it, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It is a wrap. He say, now the Ruach speak expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. The first place, we ain't gonna go read it because we holding too much as it is. The first place you look at somebody speaking lies and hypocrisy would be Hananiah when during the time of Jeremiah, when he was telling the people they wasn't gonna be in Babylon but for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up killing because he's speaking hypocrisy and lies. He was trying to seduce the people with a false spirit to tell them to go something that y'all didn't even say. You know what I'm saying? Because this man told you you're going to be here 70 years. But he coming up telling you you're only going to be here for 2. And take the thing that was on Jeremiah's neck and break it. You know what I'm talking about? I'm bursting the bands of the king of Babylon and all this here. And people were going after it. That goes back to that vanity. Worthless words. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say, let no man deceive you. Don't have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. They not getting in the kingdom. And if you got the same thing, you not getting in either. And what is that? Don't have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness come from? What should we read in Leviticus? The ways of the Egypt and the ways of the people of the land of Canaan. You better not walk in it. Don't have no agreement with that. This is why he turned around and told us in Deuteronomy 7, don't give your kids to them. Don't take your kids under them. They gonna turn your heart from following me. You know what I'm saying? But niggas think it's a game. So at the end of the day, we just like our forefathers were. We got idols in our heart. We got things that we set before Yahuwah. He said, I'm Yahuwah your Elohim, have no other God before me. He said, he that love father, mother, sister, brother more than me, you not worthy of me. If anybody can come in before your service of Yah, you not worthy of Mashiach. Who gonna tell us that? How you gonna sit back and see your brother and your sister walking the pathway like that and you don't tell them that? Because the book say don't suffer no sin on your neighbor. So you see them going in the pathway that's not right and you just going, I'm gonna be quiet about it. Shoot, don't make no difference. That's what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? They look like they pretty pleased and they happy with it. You don't love that. I'm gonna just go ahead and just tell you right this here. I don't care who don't like it. It is what it is. If you see a nigga sinning and you don't say nothing about it, you don't love him. If you consent to sinning with him, you don't love him. Ain't no way in the world you love him. Not if you say you serve this here. Now if you in the world and you say you love him, yeah, you love him. Love him right to death too, literally. But if you in this way right here, you don't love nobody and you stamp them sinning. All you gotta do is look at Acts chapter 5 with a knife and fire right there, man. The husband was on some wicked stuff. The wife went along with it. Both of them died. The husband died first. The wife came in there. What happened? You went along? Yeah. You going out the same way your husband went. Go and grab a body. Because you consented to the sin. Don't you realize, man? It's like this here, right? Y'all wasn't around yet. You might remember this here. Remember that white girl that was with us? She said she had to work on trumpets. And she wanted somebody to drop her off to work. I said, man, ain't nobody finna drop you off to no work. When it's time for you to, we sitting here on a Shabbat and you think we gonna sit back and somebody gonna take you to work? I mean, I consent to your sin. I deserve the same judgment you get. I didn't go to work on a Shabbat. I might as well had, because I consent to your sin. I stamp it, which means I agree with it. So since I agree with it, I deserve the same judgment you get. That's what happens when you see somebody committing sin and you don't say nothing. You consent to it. Or if you say, yeah, go ahead and do that, you approve it, you deserve the same thing they get. That's what the book say though, don't it? That make it what like this here. That Titus, I'm talking about, is all out though. That's like a vice grip right there. What you gonna do with that? When that man say this way is narrow and it's tight and few gonna find it, that's why few gonna find it. It's a long road. You got to have some patience with it, but that's why few not going to find it, because it's just stuff that niggas is just not going to do. Because the things that you think won't cost you your life will. You know what I'm saying? You better leave that Christian stuff at the front door. When you talking about you going to walk in this man tabernacle, you better leave that stuff at the front door. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not going to get you. Come over here to 2 Timothy chapter 3, same thing this man just said. That's why you say seducing. That means that's the enticing. All you got to go back is look at the beginning and how you can see a conscience seared with a hot iron, because Hashatan came a seducing spirit, enticing Eve to go against the thoughts of the work. That's what you don't sit back and realize. Because of partaking of the knowledge of the tree of good and evil, there's always that part of your mind that can go with evil. So you got to have the word in your mind that when those thoughts or them things come at you, that you push those down. You know what I'm saying? You got to push them things down. If not, you're going to die. Look what Paul say in 2 Timothy 3 and 13. Listen what he say, man. He say, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Now, we read last night. What's going to cause you to be deceived? Sin. It's going to harden your heart. It's going to deceive you. And we're going to sit back and look at when you decide that you don't want to listen to this man's words, that Yah will let that deception fall on your heart and let you go after your own way to your own destruction. Look what he tell you though. But continue thou in the things which thou hast heard, being assured of knowing of whom thou hast learned them, and that from a child thou hast known the Kadesh scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith which is in Yahushua HaMashiach. So again, to begin in the Ruach is to begin in faith. Because these people already knew the law. They already had heard it. They already knew it. So the law wasn't with. So you sitting back looking at, you think the works of the flesh, because you got to remember, the law didn't make nothing perfect. You know what I'm saying? The hearing of faith was shut up to the people till Hamashiach was revealed. What did he tell you? He that believe on me, as the scripture have said, out of his belly shall flow what? Rivers of living water. This he spake of the Ruach HaKodesh, that those that believed on him should receive. You feel what I'm saying? So when you believe on the man, this is what it means to walk. If we walk in the Ruach, let us live in the Ruach. If we walk in faith, let us live in faith. That's why he say we don't walk by sight, but by faith. So if you believe, walk, that's what's going to get it for you. Without that, you're not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? And you know the word part is, I've been telling y'all, most all y'all that since I know you. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to have first. Shabbats don't mean nothing. Not eating swine don't mean nothing. Not having sex don't mean nothing. Not cussing, that don't mean nothing. If you don't believe, it don't make no difference. You kept all them laws for nothing. You might as well just been out here and lived it up. You know what I'm saying? Because what did he say in Deuteronomy 32 and 20? This are children in whom is no faith. That's what he said. He didn't say this is children in whom is no law. He said this are children in whom is no faith. They don't actually believe what I'm saying. This man could come down here right now and work numerous signs and wonders just like he did when he was in the flesh 2,000 years ago, and niggas still ain't gonna believe. Still ain't gonna believe. He could give all power for us to raise the dead, heal the sick, cleanse lepers, cast out devils, and all. Niggas still ain't gonna believe. I guarantee you that. Still ain't gonna believe. We could walk right now, Red Sea get parted, you know what I'm talking about? See all signs in Shamahin, niggas still ain't gonna believe. I don't know how that nigga healed that blind man, man. That nigga got a devil on him. So nigga gonna say the same thing. They gonna do the same thing. Niggas still ain't gonna believe. They still ain't gonna believe. If you believe this, man, you ain't gotta see nothing. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't gotta see nothing. I ain't have to see the evidence of the Red Sea crossing. I believe that off the rip. You know what I'm saying? Young dude just asked me the other day, he's like, man, what call? He said, how long did it take you to believe? First day. He was like, first day, first day. First day, first day. That's all it took. One verse. I ain't need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One.
What was that one verse?
28, 68.
Proverbs?
Deuteronomy.
One. I knew we came over here on slave ship. Nobody couldn't tell me that didn't happen. Somebody got to tell me how Moses knew that. When I heard it, I said, well, this whole book true. That was the thought that came to my head as it was being read. I said, oh, this whole book true. And then after that, I'm going to hell. I had changed my life. That's what came to my head. Now I need to keep, the first thing came to my head was, oh, I believe the whole book now. I ain't know nothing about nothing though. I ain't know nothing about the whole book about Mashiach. I ain't know nothing about no laws. All I knew was don't eat swine and keep the Sabbath. That's all going into it. That's what I already knew that. I ain't know nothing about nothing. I ain't know who was who and what was what. But when I heard that, I said, this whole book true. I'm going to hell, boy. I got to change my life. That's the first thing came to my head. Now, oh, we the people. None of that there, man. I believe the whole book. I changed my life. Because I know I'm going to hell. The average person, when it don't hit them like that. So if it don't hit you like that, you might not have that fire and passion to go in like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't actually believe it. But he got to open your heart up for you to believe it. Everybody's heart don't get open. A lot of people look at this just something to do. You know what I'm saying? This ain't just something to do. You know what I'm saying? Like how much do you trust a man? Like would you get butt naked like one of the prophets did? And walk butt naked? Would you do that? You know what I'm talking about? Would you be willing to stand in front of kings and take this man's word knowing you could get killed? Hello?
Shalom.
Shalom. Knowing you could get killed. Would you do that? You know what I'm talking about? Knowing that standing on this word could cause you to lose everything you got, friends, family, job, whatever. Don't you realize, man, when a situation come up where you got to choose the word versus the world, and you choose the world, you hate God, you don't believe him, you don't trust him, you don't even trust him enough that he will supply what you need? What y'all gonna do with somebody like that? He can't do nothing with you. That's why he say, have you got the Ruach by the hearing of the word or by the works of the law? How did you get it? You know we got to look at people who got it just by believing, right? We got to look at that, right, to justify that, because we was already talking about that. So we could, Abraham, but see, we can't read where it fell on it. But we obviously know y'all was with him. You know what I'm saying? You're not incorrect. But I'm talking about actually reading where it fell on. Now we know it didn't stay on him. You know what I'm talking about? Continually or eternally. But we got to look at where it fell on. So let's look at Exodus chapter 3 for the first, well, a good instance out the law. Somebody who got it, who believed. We can actually go back later in another place and read where Moses had the Ruach on him. You see what I'm saying? But he didn't get it from no hearing. How could the law, if he was the one giving the law, you know he didn't get it because he heard the law. He the one teaching it to him. Right? Ain't he the one teaching it to him? So it fell on him before he even taught it to him. And how did it fall on him? Because he believed.
Yeah, I just think, bro, when Abraham believed him and he counted to him for righteousness.
Absolutely. No, that's what I'm saying. You're not wrong.
Oh,
What I'm talking about is we don't have that's implied that his ruach was on him. But we can't read where it say it's on, like, we can read where it's on David, it's on Moses. We can read where it's on Joshua. You know what I'm saying? We can read where it's on Obed, and we can read where it's on Samson. And none of these men received it by the hearing of the law. You know what I'm saying? They received it by faith. That's why I say, no, you wasn't wrong. Man. Exodus chapter 3. Look at about verse 4. Well, 3 actually. Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when Yahuwah saw that he turned aside to see Elohim, he called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not high hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place where thou stand is Kadesh ground. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Shalom. You all right, man. He said, moreover, he said, I am the Elohim of thy father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim. Now, we're not going to read all this stuff. Now, you know the first thing he began to do is to do what? Drop down about verse. No, when he first show himself to him, what's the first thing he do? He have him go do work signs, right? Stick your hand in your bosom. Toss this rod down. You know what I'm saying? Now, how is he able to do these things? You can't work a sign and a wonder without what? The Ruach got to be present for you to do this. You just ain't finna work no sign and wonder Elohim and ain't no Ruach on you. How you gonna be able to do that? Do you not realize splitting the Red Sea? How did he do that? Turning the water into blood? How did he do that? You know what I'm talking about? All the signs that Moses worked, how was he able to work them? You got to realize the law is not given till what? Exodus the 20th chapter, right? That's when the law is actually given. But yet Moses is working numerous works by the Ruach HaKodesh long before he's given any stone tablets. Long before he actually went to Yahuwah to be taught by him. When this man sat back and he called him out the bush, Moses believed right there. Do you see that, right? He said he was afraid to look at Elohim. He hid his face from him. Then he sat back and told him, what would I tell him what your name is? He said, they ain't going to believe me. He didn't want to, let's read the verse. He didn't say he didn't believe. He said the people ain't going to believe. Verse 12. Well, make it 11. And Moses said unto Elohim, who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, that I should bring forth the children of Yasharal out of Mizraim? He said, certainly I'll be with thee, but this shall be a token unto thee, that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Mizraim, you shall serve Elohim upon this mountain. And Moses said unto Elohim, behold, when I come unto the children of Yasharal, and shall say unto them, the Elohim of your fathers have sent me unto you, they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? Elohim said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thou shalt say unto the children of Yasharal, I am, have sent me unto you. So you don't see Moses doubting and nothing doing. All Moses was trying to do was get out of doing the work, though. You know what I'm talking about? Well, what he kept saying, I got a speech impediment. I ain't this here, I ain't that there. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what it came down to? I don't really want to do this. Not because I don't trust you, because I don't want to deal with you niggas. I've been living amongst them. I know how stubborn and stiff-necked they are. I know how unbelieving they are. Let's look at Numbers chapter 11. I think it's about 25. $11 and 25, I want to say. So what that the first time? 25, actually 24. And Moses went out and told the people the words of Yahuwah, and gathered 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And Yahuwah came down and spake unto them, and took the Ruach that was upon him, and gave it upon unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the Ruach rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease. But there remained 2 men in the camp. The name of one was Eldad, and the other name was Medad, and the Ruach rested upon them, and they were of them that were written. but went not out unto the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp. What you think that mean when he say they were amongst them that were written? What you think that mean when he say they were amongst them that are written? The Ruach fell on them. They were amongst them that were written.
Against the ones that got chosen, written in the book of life. So.
Absolutely. Let's look at Revelation 21.
What did you say?
He said they were written amongst the number of them that were written. See, the Ruach fell upon them, and because he said Eldad and Medad weren't a part of the 70, and they weren't in the camp, but it said it fell on them though. See, I'm gonna sit back and show you, even in them being outside the camp, they weren't strangers. This showing you how the Ruach would fall on the Gentile because they were outside the camp. And we'll sit back and turn around, and we're gonna look at it and go back to Numbers 11 and see how that fell on them Gentiles, showing forth the same thing. Revelation 21 and 27. Remember, because he said, those that hear my words will never taste death. We still holding John chapter 8. He said, there shall in no wise enter into it. This talking about New Jerusalem now. Anything that defile, neither whatsoever work abomination or make a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. Now we know those who follow after the beast, so they're going to follow after them because their name ain't written in the Lamb's book of life. You know the only way you're going to follow after the beast? Only sinners going to follow after the beast. He say those who do wickedly against the covenant and forsake the covenant going to follow the beast. That means I don't want to do what y'all say. Because the beast going to tell you, you can live any way you want to live. Just serve me, I got you. And you're going to look at all the things that he had to offer, and you're going to follow that.
Good afternoon.
If you written in the Lamb Book of Life.
At this time for the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament with teams.
The Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
It's in meeting room A. This program is free and open to the public. Again,
When you look at, I forget the psalm, it escapes my mind at this time. There's a song that say, everyone who is written up in Jerusalem amongst the living. But we can look at Isaiah chapter 4 for it though. So let's go there. Isaiah 4 and 3. Make it 2 though. Isaiah 4 and 2 says, in that day shall the branch of Yahuwah be beautiful and esteemed, and the fruit of their rat shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Yasharal. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, he that remain in Jerusalem, shall be called Kadesh, every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When Yahuwah shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the Ruach of judgment and by the Ruach of burning. That's the same thing what that man say. He shall put upon you the Ruach HaKodesh, and he shall immerse you with fire. You know what I'm talking about? That's going, because what fire going to do? It's the trial of faith. Purify. You know what I'm saying? You already know, Cain had that picture the other day. Nothing lukewarm can be purified. It can't get hot enough. You know what I'm saying? It can't get hot enough. He said, I would rather you be hot or cold than lukewarm. Since you're neither hot nor cold, I spit you out of my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Reason, like, that's just going back. The reason why a lot of people don't have that fire is because you don't believe. You don't want that purification process. You really don't believe. You're trying to have one foot in and one foot out. I want to hear the word, but I want to serve my flesh in the same token. And you can't do that. You can, but you're going to go to hell though. And why would you die? Didn't we just hear him say that last night? Why would you die? What is the purpose of dying? Why would you do that? He don't want that for you. So why you want it for yourself? That's the age-old question, right? So let's go back to Numbers chapter 11 and show you that and get Acts chapter 10 after that. We'll still swing around here to this Psalms 81 and Jeremiah chapter 6. Numbers chapter 11 by verse 27. And there ran a young man and told Moses and said, Meldad and Edad do prophecy in the camp. But Yahusha, son of Nun, the servant of Moses, one of his young men, answered and said, my master Moses forbid them. And Moses said unto them, envy thou for my sake? Would Elohim that all Yahuwah's people were prophets, and that Yahuwah would put his Ruach upon them.
Shalom.
Shalom. You know what I'm saying? So you know what that means? Moses sit back and look at it, right? Moses didn't sit back and look at why y'all envying for my sake. What you mean, man? I hope everybody get it. You know what I'm saying? And anybody who Yahoo teachers were like, why would I wouldn't want you to get it, or want you to get it, or want you to get it? That means that's somebody that you really want people up under you. You don't really want somebody to be next to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I'm gonna sit back and be like, I got it, I don't want nobody else to have it. You would want everybody to get it. But the thing that stopped people from getting it is because he said, would y'all, all his people get it? But the only way you gonna get it is because you actually believe. You're not gonna get it because you just kept some commandments. That's where you get the game mixed up. You so stuck on the commandments and you lack faith. You know what I'm talking about? Let's look at Acts chapter 10. That by no means made 10 and 44. Actually about 40. That by no means said we discrediting the commandments, by no means. You know what I'm talking about? But obviously the commandments haven't made you perfect. He said, him Elohim raised up the third day and showed him openly, not to all the people, but unto witnesses chosen before of Elohim, even to us who did eat and drink with him after he rose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach unto the people and to testify that it is he which was ordained of Elohim to be judge of quick and dead. To him give all the prophets witness. You hear what he said? All the Tanakh give witness, that through his name whosoever believe in him shall receive remission of sins. While Peter yet spake these words, the Ruach HaKodesh fell on them which heard the word. Didn't we already read in Mashiach say, whoever hear my sins will never die? Ain't that what he said? He say, are you been so foolish? He say, who bewitched you that you shouldn't obey it? Who has seduced you not to believe no more? You know what I'm saying? Who has seduced you to commit sin? Who has seduced you to believe that your works of the law are greater than your obedience of faith? Who has seduced you to that? Them people ain't keep no law right there, did they? And these Gentiles he talking to, no law though. No law is involved in what we looking at. He's saying they of the circumcision which believed were astonished, as many as came with Peter, because that on the Gentiles also was poured out the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. And they heard them speak with tongues and magnify Elohim. Then answered Peter, can any man forbid water that these should not be immersed, which have received the Ruach HaKodesh as well as we? And he commanded them to be immersed in the name of the Master, and they prayed. Then prayed they him to tarry certain days. So what law did they keep? Did they keep some commandments for that to fall on them? They ain't keep now. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't hear it wasn't no law that got that. They sat back and heard this man preach and believed it. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he told you in Romans, he say, you know what I'm saying, Yasharal seek the righteousness by the works of the law, while the Gentiles sought the righteousness by the works of faith. We don't seek that. We don't actually seek that. It's something else I wanted to hit on. Where it was. Acts 19. Look at what Paul asked this man right here. 19 and 1. Then we'll look at about 2 more examples of that Ruach falling on men, maybe 3, where there was no law involved. You look at Gideon. The Ruach fell on Gideon, didn't it? It didn't fall on him for no other reason than he believed. It came to pass while Apollos was at Corinth, Paul, having passed through the upper coast, came to Ephesus, finding certain disciples. And he said unto them, have you received the Ruach HaKodesh since you believed? And they said unto him, we have not so much as heard whether there be any Ruach HaKodesh. And he said unto them, unto what then were you immersed? And they said, unto Yachanan's immersion. Then said Paul, Yachanan truly immersed with the immersion of repentance, saying unto the people that they should believe on him who should come after him. That is Yahusha HaMashiach. And when they heard this, they were immersed in the name of the Master Yahusha. And when Paul laid his hands upon them, the Ruach HaKodesh came on them, and they spake with tongues and prophesied, and all the men were about 12. You see the key thing he said? That didn't mean they were keeping the law the whole time then, wasn't it? They had to be. But you see what he asked them? He said, you got this since you believe? They said, we don't even know what that is. You think they were walking around sinning at the time? What hindered them from getting it is they hadn't heard of Yahusha yet. But the minute he sat down and he went through it on them, it came on them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what has to be increased. Then once that's increased, the workings of sin would be an anomaly to you. That's not nothing you're going to see to go do. Let's look at Judges about 13, I'm going to say. Might be 14. Because we know from 1 Kings 17, he say, I sent my prophets, I sent my seers, telling the children of Yasharah, turn from your evil and wicked ways and keep my laws, statutes, and commandments. He say, notwithstanding, they stiffened the neck, and they were like as their fathers who did not believe in Yahuwah the Elohim. When we hear the word and go opposite to it, we telling, I don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? That's the same way if somebody tell you, hey, bro, them niggas round there shooting on 45th. Don't go round there. You know what I'm saying? And you go around there and get shot. You went around there because you ain't believe that nigga when he said they was shooting on 45th. You know what I'm saying? Every last one of us done had somebody tell us something and you didn't believe it and you went and did the opposite and you got just what was coming from that. You know what I'm talking about? But boy, that nigga told me don't go around there. That nigga told me this here. That nigga told everybody. It done happen. Ain't nobody exempt from that. Everybody done had that happen. And the reason why that happened, because you ain't believe it. You know what I'm saying? I know dudes that done called AIDS. Nigga told, boy, that girl got AIDS, boy. He went on around there. Now he like, boy, I done caught that ninja. Nigga told you that girl had AIDS, boy. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga told you that, but you didn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Nigga told you, boy, you better watch that nigga. That nigga raw, boy. Man, that nigga ain't gonna do nothing. Now you got a pistol to your dome, taking all your stuff. Now he done shot you and left you for dead. You know what I'm saying? But nigga told you that already. You didn't believe it. So when y'all tell you, if you do this, this is what's gonna happen, or this right there in the third, and you do the opposite, you didn't believe him. Stop lying to yourself to convince yourself you believe the man when you doing opposite of what he told you. You don't believe it. Is it 13? It might be 14. 14 and about 3. Make it 1 though. This is another incident what I'm talking about or something. He said, and Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath, the daughters of Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I've seen a woman in Timnath of the daughter of Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Then his father and his mother said unto him, is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, among all thy people, that thou go take a wife of the uncircumcised of the Philistines? Samson said unto his father, get her for me, for she pleased me well. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of Yahuwah, and that he sought occasion against the Philistines, for at that time the Philistines had dominion over Yasharal. So Samson only wanted this woman because y'all put it in his head to want. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm sitting there telling you. They said they didn't know it was of Yahuwah. And he put that thought in Samson's head for what cause? Because I need occasion to smash them. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm sitting there telling you. He can put a thought in your heart and direct you in the way that he wants you to go for his will to be fulfilled. You know what I'm talking about? Because if y'all don't put that in his head, does Samson necessarily want to marry this woman? Maybe, maybe not. But of course, from what we read, we see y'all put that in his heart. That's what we see, right? He said, then went Samson down and his father and his mother to Timnath and came to the vineyards of Timnath, and behold, a young lion roared against him, and the Ruach of Yahuwah came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid, and he had nothing in his hand, but he told not his father or his mother what he had done. Now all of a sudden the Ruach fall upon him. What it fell upon him for? Do you know what I'm talking about? Now what was Samson from the womb?
Nazareth.
So you better believe if he was sanctified from Yahuwah from birth, you don't think he believed in it? Do we read anything where we see some law, statutes, and commandments involved when this spirit fall on this man door? Let's look at 2 Chronicles 15. (15:1). We got to get to his word. Okay. And the Ruach of Elohim came upon Azariah the son of Oded. And he went out to meet Asa and said unto him, here you meet Asa and all Yehuda and Benjamin. Yahuwah is with you while you be with him. If you seek him, he will be found of you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. Now you see, did the Ruach fall on him because of the law or because he fell on him because I got something I need you to do? But you see the thing that he told him, he said, Yahuwah be with you if you be with him. Now what's going to cause, and he say, and he will forsake you if you forsake him. What's going to cause Yahuwah to forsake you? Turning from the word, ain't it? That's what's going to cause it. And you got to sit back and realize something. For the Ruach to fall on Samson, for the Ruach to fall on Azariah, for the Ruach to fall on David, for it to fall on Moses, for it to fall on them 70 elders, for Medad and Eldad, and those who were written in the Lamb's Book of Life, and we looked at, is because they believed. I mean, when they heard the word, they believed it. Before you can actually keep you got to believe it. See, a lot of y'all hear stuff and they say don't do this, and you move just not to do it because it say don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But that heart of faith ain't there. Like, the heart of faith will come and you won't hear no law. Like, even though Deuteronomy 28:6-8 was law, that wasn't an instruction on don't do this or don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You just sit back and look at where's that hearing of faith at. Because that hearing of faith is going to activate something. You know what I'm talking about? It's the Ruach that's going to make you perfect. It's going to be activated by your faith. But see, let's look at Psalms 81 and let's see what happened when you don't believe what it means. 81.
And what that verse was for Chronicles?
15:1. 81:5. Actually, my apologies, 81:8. Psalms 81:8. Talahim 81:8. It says, "Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto thee, O Yasharal, if thou wilt hearken unto me. There shall no strange God be in thee, neither shalt thou worship any strange God. I am Yahuwah thy Elohim, which brought thee out of the land of Mizraim. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it." He said, "But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Yasharal would none of me. So I gave them up to their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Yasharal had walked in my ways." So you see, the key thing that he wanted to do was to hear. But they didn't hear. And you see what he said, what happened because they didn't hear? "I gave them up to their own heart's desire." And then he said, "I let them walk in their own counsel." So I'll let you recommend your own course of action. I'm going to let you do what you want to do. Romans 1:28. I'm going to let you do. See, that's how serious that is. And you don't sit back and play. You think you can hear the man word week in and week out, day in and day out, and do what you want to do, and you don't listen and he don't turn you over to that? Romans 1:28. You know what I'm saying? That's just scared the daylights out of you. I'm talking about, we're going to read Jeremiah 6 and 28 in a moment, go along with this, the reprobate thing. You know what I'm saying? Because when you reprobate, that means Yah has rejected you. You know what I'm saying? That's scary. You know what I'm talking about? That is scary. That should petrify. What? Nobody don't want to see nobody go reprobate. That's a sad thing to see. Because I know what the end result going to be once it's completed. You know what I'm talking about? Once it's completed, you're going to be like, boy, that nigga, whoo. And it says, "and even," make it 26. He say, "For this cause Elohim shall give them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use, that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burning their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient." That's what he said. Since they didn't want to listen to me, I'm going to give them up to their own heart's lust. "Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of Elohim, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things." Remember how we looked at that? That's an abomination, a heart that devises wicked imaginations. Because he said, "I made man upright. Man sought out many inventions." We invent so many wicked and evil things to do in our mind. And this man say, when that goes to happening, it's because I'm giving you over to that. "Disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of Elohim, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them." So how are we walking in the word and we know if somebody do this, you worthy of death? How can I take pleasure in you, much less do it with you? That means I'm worthy of death along with you. He told you don't walk in the ordinances of the sinners of this land or the sinners of the land you came out of. How can we say we are Yahuwah and take pleasure in that? I mean, say, how you going to take pleasure in people who doing these things when you know the book say they ought to die? But I'm going to take pleasure in them. So if you take pleasure, he say not only do they take pleasure in them, they do the same. So you doing it with them. That's petrifying. Because that means if you doing it with them, guess what that means? That's going to end up happening to you. You going to get turned reprobate. Jeremiah 6 and 28. And then we go back to John chapter 8. You know, this ain't the first time we ever talk about reprobate mindism. Probably won't be the last. You know what I'm talking about? But that thing, there ain't no joke, man. You know what I'm talking about? I'm telling you, boy, I done seen niggas go to like y'all, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all take that book literal. See, it's just allegories from somebody who used to be so-called gung-ho for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a free thinker. See, y'all trapped in the cage of religion, brother. You know what I'm saying? Niggas looking like, boy, how you get to that? He said they are all grievous revolters, rebellion, walking with slanders. They are brass and iron, they're all corrupters. Their bellows are burnt, the lead is consumed of the fire. The founder melt in vain, for the wicked are not plucked away. Reprobate silver shall men call them, because Yahuwah have rejected them. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 10, might as well. That man said reprobate silver. Yahuwah has and you see what they got them rejected? Because they slandered. He said they walked with slanders. They revolted and they were corrupt. To revolt is to rebel against the word. To rebel against the word make you a witch. To rebel against the word is mean you hear it and don't do it. Hope I don't do it. That's what it means to rebel against the word, is to hear it and don't do it. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 10. He's saying, with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not a love for the truth, that they might be saved. For this cause Elohim shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned, who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. If he send you a strong delusion, you know that's giving you over to a reprobate mind. That's Proverbs 1 and 21. That's giving you over. You just sit back and look, that is giving you over. If you hear the word and you don't do it and it don't activate something in your heart, he will let you stay that way. I'm telling you, man, that is terrifying. I remember that time, man, they told me like that dude that used to be with us, and he was like, I don't hear the Lord's voice no more. I just hear Dwayne. That scared the daylights out of me. I said, boy, he on his way. He on his way. You know what I'm saying? People hear comments, they'll hear certain things, like, man, because I know what the book's saying, I hear certain things. Yeah, it'll scare me, boy. You know what I'm saying? I could start praying for you on the spot. You say certain things, boy, like right in my heart, right while I'm talking to you. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's terrifying to me. I don't want to see nobody get flipped like that. Boy, you say your conscience gets seared with a hot iron, I know what the end result gonna be. I know what the end result gonna be. And I done seen it happen too. Oh no. I'm gonna tell you something, man. You wouldn't wish hell on your worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas like this here, like you been in the street, you be like, well, I wouldn't wish jail on my worst. I wouldn't care how much you ain't like nobody. You ain't gonna want to see them in that position. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, nobody want to see nobody burning forever. I only want to see one person burning forever. 3 people. That's Hashatan, the beast and the false prophet. I don't mind, let them niggas burn. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody else outside of them, boy, you don't want to see that happen to them. Why you want to see them 3 niggas? They deserve it. They already, plus we already know they earmarked for it. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, when you pop up, buddy, you burn, you bastard. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? But no, man. Because that's a terrifying sight. Because until we endure to the end at any given time, boy, I could be there too. I ain't trying to be there with you. You know what I'm talking about? Because if I see, because he said in Isaiah 66, he said they gonna be abhorrent to all flesh when niggas look at you and see you in there. I don't want that for nobody. You know what I'm talking about? 1 and 21. Make it 23. Matter of fact, make it go ahead and make it 20. Yeah, 21 is cool. 20 even better. Because we already worked. That's what we talking about. We just gonna run it down. You hear what the man got to say. He says, wisdom cry without, she utter her voice in the streets. Mashiach crying out to you. She cried in the chief place of concourse, in the opening of the gates in the city. She utter her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? How long will you stupid people love stupidity? To go again, to hear the word and not do it, you are certified stupid. Because that means you know the truth and you knowingly go against it. That means literally you are stupid, according to Yah, not me. Didn't he just call you stupid? How long will you love stupidity? How you know the truth and believe a lie? That's the definition of stupid. So if we hear the word, because to walk in sin is to believe a lie. Sin is deceitful. So to hear the word and go sin, you believe a lie. Hello? Shalom. 23. I'm sorry, I gotta finish 22. How long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity, and scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? The word of Elohim is the knowledge of Elohim. When we sit back and he say, how long will fools hate? When you hear the knowledge of Elohim, just as we already read in Romans, they didn't like to retain this man's knowledge in their mind. That means you a fool and you hate the word. There's no excuse for it. That's what we were talking about earlier, man. There's no gray area, man. You either on this side or you on that side. You either believe or you don't believe. You either unkadesh or you kadesh. He that is filthy, let him be filthy still. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. He that is kadesh, let him be kadesh still. See, you want to sit back and look at it, and we want to make it be like, well, hey, man, this, that, man, y'all looking at, screw that nigga. Because I done talked to him, 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 I done talked to him. He won't do what I say. I done talked to her, I done talked to her, I done talked to her. She don't want to do what I say. And he finna tell you this. But this is not what he wants. At all. This is not what, don't get the game twisted. Anybody who got the word in them, they don't want you to perish, but after a while, they get tired of talking. Do what you want to do. Get what you want to get. That's what you want to do anyway.
You gonna do it anyway.
You gonna do it anyway. Using idolatry, you stubborn. Get what coming to you. That's what you want. By all means, get it. I hope you get every last bit of it, and I ain't gonna have no sympathy for you, because at the end of the day, that was the choice that you made. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour my ruach unto you. I will make my words known unto you. So guess what? When that hearing of faith come and you get that correction, it's not the law that's going to sit back and get you to turn. It's your believing of faith, which makes you perfect by the ruach. If you walk in the ruach, live in the ruach. If you walk in faith, live in faith. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say, I don't frustrate the grace of Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? The son of Elohim gave his life for me. I didn't see this man die. I didn't see this man resurrect. I believe it because it's written. Because Yah said he did it, and then this man works. Back it up. You know what I'm talking about? People like, boy, how you get the word? How you? Because I believe it, nigga. It was no matter Shabbat keeping in the world was going to get me that type of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That wasn't going to happen. But even still with that, I still got to keep my body under subjection. Just because the man give you some understanding don't mean you got a ticket. You know what I'm talking about? That don't mean, well, shoot, he done gave me the word, boy, I'm in. No, that don't mean that. You know what I'm saying? I still got to do the same thing everybody else got to do. You got to endure. You got to resist. You know what I'm talking about? You got to do all the same stuff.
Paul said he had to keep his brother
under subjection. He said, lest what I teach to others, I be, because he would let it be known. That's 1 Corinthians 9 and 24 or 27. Lest I be a castaway. Yeah, I got all this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. He said, but if I ain't got love, I ain't got nothing. If I don't love Elohim, all this stuff don't mean nothing. He said, I can have faith to move mountains, but if I lack love, it don't mean nothing. So it go to showing you got to have both. Because Paul tell you, I got all this stuff. I got faith, but if I don't love Elohim and keep a commandment, what good is my faith? But if I got the ruach, if I got it faith, and I don't keep the man's word, then what's the point of that? Or I say I love it, but I don't believe. How's that possible? How's that possible? Then we turn around and look at, how can we say we the people of Elohim and love sin and love sinners? There's a difference saying, okay, that's my people. They outside the way. I got love for them because that's my people. But I don't mess with you like that, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't going to fool with you like that, though. I ain't going to be. I'm not going to do your holiday. I'm not. That ain't just holiday. I ain't stamping or agreeing with nothing that you do contrary to the word. And matter of fact, I'm going to make sure that I keep you at a certain distance so I'm not permeated with your filth. You see what I'm saying? Because after a while, you going to convert me. I ain't going to convert you. The only way you gonna convert somebody is they see you from afar living it, not up there up on you day in and day out, day in. They gonna observe your behavior. You ain't gonna be up under them, because they gonna convert you. He say, blessed are them who don't go in the way of sinners. So when you walk in the pathway that sinners go, you damned. That's what the book say. That's our problem. When we look at stuff and we judge matters, you get upset when a nigga say something because you thinking they speaking their opinion. They saying what the book say. So guess who you really mad at? You mad at Yah because Yah is saying that's what that is. When we make determination on anything, that's why the master say don't judge according to appearance. Judge righteous judgment. Don't judge based on how it look. Judge it based according to what their words say. What's right according to the law, statutes, and commandments and testimony of Yahuwah? What's right according to that? If the word show that I'm an unbeliever, that's what I am. If the word show I'm a sinner, then that's what I am. If the word show that I'm righteous, then that's what I am. If the word show that I'm unkadesh, then that's what I am.
You ain't got to stay like that, though.
You ain't got to stay like that, though. The thing is that most people make the choice. They hear that judgment, then they be like, oh, what's the point? When that's telling me you didn't really believe in the first place. Because if you hear that and you believe, then something would click in your mind and say, I ain't gonna do that no more. I ain't finna stay like this. Because every last person who ever was gonna be saved was contrary to the word. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nobody exempt from that save one man. So when you hear the word and it identifies where you contrary at, and then you don't make a move to get in line with it, because remember now the law say, if you walk contrary unto me, I'm gonna walk contrary unto you.
Yeah, and the girl, what I was telling what me and Troy were talking about last night, like, think about the man that got crucified with Yahusha. All his works was sin because he was about to be put to death. But when he believed in Yahusha, he said, this man did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? He said, remember me in the kingdom. Yahusha said,
yeah, you'll be with me. Which we gonna get into that too. On two, it's like we done dealt with one way, but we'll look at it the other way too, though, because that's also showing mercy and a whole bunch of other things along with it. But what got him that? It was just, of course, we know that's that testimony of one person dying and one person living with Joseph in the prison. You know what I'm talking about? But it's that hearing of faith. That's what niggas lack. Everybody want to rule out. Everybody want power. Elohim. Don't nobody believe in him though. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody believe in him though. That's why I told y'all earlier, I say it again. This man could come down here, or he could give us the power to do it, to raise the dead, cleanse lepers, cast out devils, heal the blind, heal the sick, heal the deaf, open the mouths of mutes, and niggas still ain't gonna believe.
yeah, he proved that himself.
It's already been proven. Shoot, that was proven in the wilderness. I turned the water into blood. I brought water out of rock. You know what I'm saying? I brought you out of Egypt by the blood of a lamb. You know what I'm talking about? I rained hail. I'm talking about I made it go dark around these people.
Killed the firstborn.
All that, and they ain't believe none of it.
And it's like you think to yourself, if I would have been there, I would have.
Which say already you bear witness, you the children of them who didn't believe. Straight up. You gonna bear witness. If I was out there, I wouldn't have said crucify him. You bear witness, you'll be one of them to say it. Because you don't know what you would have did if you was there. You don't know what mind you would have had. You know what I'm talking about? That's serious though. When you sit back and look at, if they didn't believe the signs and wonders in the wilderness, and they didn't believe the signs and wonders of Yahusha, what make you think they gonna believe it now?
Yeah.
A lot of brothers ask why he don't do certain stuff no more. Why? You ain't gonna believe it anyway.
They didn't know the same.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna believe it. We can have somebody walking in right now, I'm talking about paralyzed from the neck down. Then sit back and look at him, get up out your chair and walk in the name of Yahusha. He get a nigga, why did he do that? That nigga wasn't paralyzed for real, man. That nigga just running the game.
Yep.
That nigga wasn't paralyzed for real. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never seen that man day before in your life. You just looked upon him and had compassion, and you had that gift of the Ruach to do it, and you say, by the name of Yahusha, get up and walk. But you know the key thing, what ain't gonna allow him to get up and walk? Because he don't believe.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? He don't believe. So of course he not gonna get up. Every time you seen the master heal somebody, what he say? Let it be according to your faith. Believe I can do this? I believe. And you seen some of them say, help me with my unbelief. That's the problem. But everybody believe though. Ain't no unbelievers nowhere. Everybody believe though. No, everybody don't. Let me finish this out, man. 24, he say, because I have called and ye refused, I stretched out my hand and no man regarded, but you have sat at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear come. And when fear come as a desolation and your destruction come as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then you shall call upon me, but I will not answer. Then they shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they that hated not, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahuwah, they would have none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. When you hear the word and don't do it, this man telling you, I'm going to turn you reprobate. I'm going to let you stay like that. And he didn't put no time frame in it. All it boiled down to, because you hated my word, because when I spoke to you, you didn't turn, stay like that. Did you see this here? You'll be filled with your own way and eat the fruit of your own devices. What are devices? You're going to eat the fruit of your own thoughts. You won't get my thoughts. You won't get my mind. That's scary. Being reprobate is terrifying because you'll never be able to get right after that. We don't say it's impossible, but it's like this here. It's slim to none. Because we don't read about nobody who y'all rejected, him coming back to get other than our people as a whole. And then he don't want all us. You know what I'm saying? You look at Saul, he got rejected. Y'all didn't want him back. Ahab rejected. I don't want you back.
Because he kept going down.
Because I'm giving you a mind to keep going. John chapter 8. Well, once y'all reject you, boy, it's over. You know what I'm talking about? And you can't play with that. That's a dangerous line to be playing. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what? Because you know, being turned reprobate is not something that people talk about a lot. You know what I'm saying? And like how serious that is. Being turned reprobate is horrible. That's horrible. You know what I'm talking about? That is horrible. From what you just heard, that's horrible. Because that means I'm going to let you stay a sinner. For one reason and one reason alone, because you wanted to be a sinner. 8:52. Then said the Yahudim unto him, now we know that thou hast a devil. Abraham is dead and the prophets, and thou say, if a man keep my saying, he shall never taste death. Art thou greater than our father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets are dead? Whom make thou thyself? Yahusha answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honor me, of whom ye say that he is your Elohim. Ye have not known him, yet ye have not known him, but I know him. And if I should say I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you. But I know him and keep his saying. 1 John chapter 2, verse 3. That man say, I know him. He said, if I say, you got to open the door for him. First John 2 and 3. Hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments. He that saith, I know him and keep not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoso keep his word, in him truly is the love of Elohim perfected. Hereby know we that we are in him. He that saith he abide in him ought to himself also as to walk even as he walked. So we can't, this man sat back and say, I know him, but you heard the key thing that he said, I keep his sayings. Because I know his sayings are life, so I listen to what he says. We can't turn around and say we know the man and believe the man and love the man and you don't keep what he say. That means you hate the man, you don't know him, you don't believe in him because you don't keep his sayings. And if to say that, that's why he said, I know him. He said, if I was to say I didn't know him, I'd be a liar like y'all. Because y'all say you know him, but you don't keep his sayings though. So in actuality, you don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm going to tell you something, right? The book say to confess your faults, right? But what good is it confessing? He say, he that confess his sins and forsake them shall have mercy. That man don't want to hear. You can't sit back and say, well, I'm a sinner. Well, now what you going to do about it? Because he's not impressed by that. You don't get brownie points for that. You're going to have to change your ways and actions. All that is just false repentance. See, let's look at something in Titus 1 and 16. Make it 14. Make it 15. Titus 1 and 15. He say, unto the pure, all things are pure. Unto them that are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. So you heard this man say, to them that are defiled and unbelieving, ain't nothing in his word gonna be right. You know what I'm saying? When you unbelieving and your conscience been defiled and seared with that iron, that means whatever the word come, I ain't doing that. But if you've uttered word, anything that's clean, it's going to be clean to you and you're going to gravitate to it. Listen to the next thing he say. They profess that they know Elohim, but in works they deny him. Being abominable and disobedient under every good work reprobate. So when he say every good deed you do is rejected. Because we just heard him say reprobate silver, right? That's rejected. So that means when you say you know him and you abominable and you disobedient, it don't matter what laws you keeping, it's rejected. I don't want it. How do we know that? Isaiah chapter 1, let's see. Isaiah 1. Isaiah 1 and about 10. He say here, Isaiah 1 and 10, Yeshayahu 1 and 10. Hear the word of Yahuwah, you rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our Elohim, you people of Gomorrah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith Yahuwah? I'm full of burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts. I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he-goats. And when you come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations. Oh boy, you done got stuck in now. He say, bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Shabbats, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with it. It is iniquity. Even the solemn meeting, your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hate. They are trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. When you make many prayers, I will not hear you. Your hands are full of blood. Because they professing that they know the man. By doing all it, but they works, they deny them. That man say, all these good works you doing, I reject all of them. I don't want none of them. You know what I'm saying? It means nothing because they worthless. They worthless to me. You know what I'm saying? He said, your hands are full of blood. But you sit back looking at, I'm keeping Shabbat. I gathered up on this day. Why you don't want it? Because you neigh after every man neigh after his neighbor's wife. You know what I'm talking about? Every man be drunken. You know what I'm saying? All manner of uncleanliness and unset apart behavior in the camp. I'm weary to bear it. Because you know what the law say, when you commit sin, your blood is upon you. You know what I'm saying? So this man say, you spread forth your hands, they full of blood. Man, I don't want that. But you thinking I'm doing a good work. No, every good work reprobate. I reject it. That'll give you another framework and thought process of what it means to walk contrary to the word. You feel what I'm saying? That's sit back and look at, so you mean to tell me I can do right and y'all don't want it? Yeah. Because all the wrong you're doing. And you think a couple right things gonna cover that up. I mean, say if you break one, you what?
Break them all.
You break them all. So if you feel comfortable enough to break one, just do what you want to do if you don't feel comfortable enough to line yourself up all the way with it. Because the excuses ain't going to mean nothing. He ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to hear that. That man ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm talking about? I tried. Well, you know, man, look here, man. All they come up is simple. You know how wicked and hypocritical we are? Because you go on Mr. Charlie's job and do everything he say. And do everything he say. You don't question him. You don't go against him. Whatever he tell you to do. Yes, sir. I get that done right away, sir. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up, with a dance and a smile. Everything you want me to do, sir, I get it done immediately, sir.
Don't give no mouth to it. No.
Don't get no mouth to it. No back talk. No stiff neck. You don't turn your back on him. Yes, sir.
Can you be scared?
Like this here triplet, sir. Don't let. I can't lose my job, sir. I got rent to pay, sir. So what you need me to do, sir? I'll buff your penis for you, sir. That's what people be doing on their job, though. I buff your butt for you, too.
Stroking their ego.
Straight up. That's what you do. A lot of y'all know a lot of brown noses at your job. Some of them be like this here. Some of them go past that. They pad kissing booty. They on their knees.
What?
But y'all know I ain't lying, though. You know what I'm talking about? I need these 1025 hours, sir. I need these $14 an hour, sir. I need it, sir.
You need that promotion.
I need that. So you know, but you know, at the end of the day, for a man to do it, you know what that boils down to? Use a cow.
Got a mango.
You's a coward. And when I say coward is, the reason being is because you fear man more than your mighty one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How I'ma fear man? You just gonna have to make it do what it do. You know what the crazy part is? Take that same nigga on the street and the nigga talking about killing him or fighting him, he don't see him. Nigga ain't gonna do nothing to me. I bet he don't do nothing to me. But you don't look at Mr. Charlie like that though. Now you know some black people tell Mr. Charlie what they ain't gonna do. You know what I'm talking about?
They don't like it.
You know what I'm saying? Look like
Get over it.
let him know like this here. I need you to take your trash out, man. I ain't taking none of that out. Shoot, real nigga ain't taking none of that out. When I said like this here, okay, you wait on that trash. You know you done did it for him. It don't matter if it's my job description. I don't feel like doing it. It ain't getting done.
You're not gonna have no job.
Some of it.
And that's not wise.
You know what I'm talking about? But you know, black people good for doing that. They'll tell you what they ain't gonna do on your job. They come on your job and tell you what they ain't gonna do. Niggas say, but I'm paying you for that. Don't make no difference. I ain't doing it. You know what I'm talking about? But guess what though? It's a lot of black people who do that. They don't never lose. They be like, this nigga tell these people he ain't doing nothing. That nigga ain't been fired yet. Maybe Mr. Charlie like that nigga bold. I like him. That nigga told me what he ain't gonna do. You know what I'm talking about? How would fire a nigga like that? Boy, this nigga been working here 20 years. That nigga, you know, you always irk my nerve, man. I be working somewhere and they be like the big people coming and niggas go to shaking.
Yeah, I'll be like,
Who is it?
You know what I'm saying? The general manager coming in, the regional manager coming. Oh man, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. I'm like, dude, that's a man.
Yeah, that's how I did it at Walmart. Yeah.
Like that's a dude. Like nigga, I don't care who come. Man, we gotta get the store right, man. Such and such coming. What's your point,
try to act
nigga?
all extra nice and
You know what I'm talking about, nigga? You don't act like this when they ain't. They can put it on the front when it. But the thing is though, it show how we fear man more than Elohim. You fear man more than Elohim. Nigga, I don't care who you is. Nigga, you gotta sit down and duke it like I do. Nigga, if I shoot you right now, you gonna bleed just like if you shot me. You put your pants on one leg at a time like me, man. Man, I'm not stressed. Nigga, you's a man. But guess what though? Y'all give his word like that, you don't tremble at him like that. He tell you not to do something, you don't look at him like that, cause you don't fear him. You don't respect him. This is the word part of it. You respect your slave master more than your slave master. Cause Paul say, I'm a slave to Mashiach. You fear your slave master more than your slave master. That's bad.
when you're a slave master.
You know what I'm saying? That's bad. That's bad, bro. And on top of that, you fear somebody that's not even of your own stock more than you fear your Elohim. That's bad. You know what I'm saying? Man, I remember I was like this here, man. I was cleaning up at the ale house, and then the dude was like, man, you want a job washing dishes? I say, sure, that's a bet. I say, you know I can't work Friday nights and Saturday afternoon, right? I don't need nobody telling me what day they can't work. You don't need me washing no dishes here neither. You know what I'm talking about? Because this is non-negotiable. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, if any interview I done been on, bro, I'm talking about I go, that's non-negotiable.
Yeah, let them know on the drive.
Off the top, I can't do that. What you mean? What I said. You know what I'm talking about? And I can show you, Ben, and I can tell you. You remember that time Ed was like, yeah, come on here and get your check. I done been told Ed, bro, I don't work on no Friday night, bro. And if you call me out here talking about it and you delaying, I bet I sit and watch you work. You know what I'm talking about? That nigga called me out there talking about, oh, we gonna do it. Like, first we wasn't gonna do it till another day. Then he was like, come on. I'm thinking he telling me come on just to come get my check. He like, yeah, we working. I'm telling him we gonna work. I say, but bro, when that sun go down, I'm done. And he thought I was playing. And you know what I was doing? Sitting back, chilling, watching that nigga work. He really didn't think I was gonna sit and watch him work. I'm on the phone talking to somebody else about the word. That nigga say, so you ain't gonna help? Wait on it. Wait on it. I done already told you. Like, that's non-negotiable. Like, don't you realize these sinners will try you just to see if you stand on the word, and once they see they can get you to go against the word, man, they not respecting none of you talking about after that. Because they know you ain't no saint, you a sinner like me. Because if you were, ain't no way in the world you would have went for what I was talking about. You put it this way, what evil is y'all? Y'all say he loves us, right? What evil he ever brought on us that we ain't do nothing to deserve it? What sin has y'all ever brought on us? So if we bring sin on each other, we don't love each other. When y'all seen us in sin, he came and rebuked us, right? So if you see your brother in sin and you don't rebuke him, guess what that means? You don't love him. Book say open rebuke is better than secret love. So you sit back and you see them in sin, you don't love that person. You let them sin. Because at the end of the day, that means I don't care where your soul rests at. That's at the end of the day. I don't care about your soul. I'll let you stay in sin. I ain't gonna tell you stop sinning. I ain't gonna tell you to consider. I ain't gonna tell you change your ways. I'm gonna tell you, well, shoot, my nigga, just keep on, hey, man, hey, that's what you're doing, you know what I mean? Do your thing. But we too stupid to realize that. When you tell somebody stop sinning, or your works show you don't believe, you're transgressing, this, that, then, the third, and you're imploring them, you're exhorting them, you're warning them to change, it's because I love you. I don't want that wrath that's going to fall on your head. I don't want that to fall on your head because I know the terror of the master. I done experienced it. You know what I'm talking about? It's nothing nice. It's nothing nice. You know what I'm talking about? I done experienced. I'm here to tell you firsthand experience, not what a nigga told me. What I know. You don't want nothing to do with that. You don't want nothing to do with that. You know what I'm talking about? To sit and watch people go reprobate. You don't want nothing to do with that. You will implore any and everyone to avoid that at all costs. You know what I'm talking about? But if you choose to go that track, what can we say? But let's hit this right here, man. We done spent about an hour on it. Y'all see this word right here? Y'all see what that word is? Who can pronounce it? Kahal, that's what it is.
Why you gotta own
No, that's just what I had right now, man. Where all that. You go and change it, nigga, you got a problem with it.
We ain't got no old on language where you put the order.
Well, go up there and change it
You
then.
put a C up there, supposed to be cute.
Yeah, I know it. That's when we writing the thing up there. You know, my drawing was bad, so Troy had to change the drawing. I got a funny word for you. Go to Exodus chapter 25 though. I'm trying to find a recall what is a word. Oh, let me look at Numbers chapter 10 real fast. That's what I know what it says. There we go. Because I'm looking for something. That's not the word that we want. That's not the word that we want. We're gonna look at this word right here. The thing, obviously, we're not gonna. Most High willing, next week is we'll start with them 7 synagogues. We started out there. We'll touch one of them things because this word's to break down all 7 of them. We're gonna look at all 7 of them. We might get able to fit 2 in a week. We might. Let's see if Exodus 12 and 6 got this word in it. Numbers 10 didn't have that word in it. There we go. There we go. So when we turn around and we look at kahal, the word for this here, we have assembly, company, congregation, convocation, assembly, company of returning exiles, and last and certainly not least, an organized body. So when we look at, oh boy, now I got to move. Got my back killing. When we look at this, right, we see we got the kaf, the hay, and the lamad. And what do we have here? To come is here with a footprint of a path revealed, a prophecy of a messenger, the instructions of supreme authority. So when we look at in Exodus 12 and 6, where we say the whole assembly shall slay it, this is what it's come about at. So the whole body will do this.
You know, similar to the same with the lamb.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? So when we sit back and look at it, because guess what? When they slayed that, what ended up happening after that? Was it a footprint of a path revealed? Because they got up out of there, didn't they? Then after that, a prophecy of a messenger was actually in this act. So when we turn around, when we sit back and we look at get to gather together, then we get a point of the path is going to be revealed. The prophecy of Mashiach is going to show us what we got to do to get to this supreme authority. So let's, before we even read Exodus 25, look at Hebrews 10 and 25. When I ran across this word and started going into it, this verse here came to my head and made me look at it a little differently. Make it 10 and 22 though. Hebrews 10 and 22 though. Yeah, right now. He said, let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith. So if you're going to draw near to the Most High, you hear what he said? With a true heart, right? But he think full assurance of faith. That means you're assured that this man is going to do what he said he's going to do. Having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience, and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our hope without wavering, for he is faithful that promise. And let us consider one another and provoke one another to love and good work. You hear what he say? Let us consider one another and provoke or motivate or entice each other to do what's right. So when we do opposite of that, you sinning. When you sit back and you look at it, you don't provoke your brother to good works and love Elohim, you wrong. How you sit back and see your brother, see your sister committing sin or going to the pathway that's not right, and you don't say nothing? And you don't think you're going to hell for that? See, that's what it said. That's real. That's talking about. That's restrictive right there. But it also shows that you don't love this person because you wouldn't watch your brother and sister walk out in the street and get hit by a car.
But it's like doing it's about the same.
But when you sit back and you see them walking in the pathway that's not good, it's the same thing. When you stamp it, it's the same thing. When you condone it, it's the same thing. He said, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. So if we sit back and we say, I'm going to forsake them, because the assembling ourselves is basically the assembling of his body, or the organization or the bringing together of his body. So when we say, I'm going to forsake that, I'm forsaking the path and the prophecy and the instructions of the messenger of the supreme authority. I'm saying, screw him. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Screw him. I'm forsaking the path. See, get Jeremiah 6 and 16. Look what he say. Jeremiah 6 and 16. He said, thus saith Yahuwah. Matter of fact, make it 15. He said, were they ashamed when they committed abomination? Nay, they were not at all ashamed. Neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall. At the time that I visit them, they shall be cast down. Say if you see the key thing he said, when they committed abomination, were they even ashamed? He said, no. You know how you know you wasn't ashamed? Because you kept on doing it. He said you kept on doing it, so you wasn't ashamed. It didn't bother you at all. He said, thus saith Yahuwah, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old path, where is the good way, and walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. I will not walk in this path that has been revealed. I refuse to do it. So that means I reject the prophecy of the testimony of Yahusha is what? You know what I'm saying? I reject him. That means I reject him. He said, he that received me don't receive me. He received him that sent me. You know what I'm talking about? So when you reject it, looking at, that's what I'm saying, looking at the forsaking the assembly of ourselves is looking a lot different. You know what I'm talking about? Than what we would look at it maybe in time past. Listen what he say. And also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. Look at Isaiah 58 and 1. You know what it is. He said, I set watchmen over you to hearken to the trumpet. They say, we won't listen. Which is going right back to what we looked at in Proverbs 1 with wisdom. Say she cry out in the street, right? I don't want to hear the word. I'm a fool. I'm stupid. 58 and 1. Cry aloud. Spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. Show my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sins. So guess what? When he said, I set watchmen up over you to cry out, they say, we will not hearken. I don't want to hear about my sins. I don't want to change. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. Let me see something here. Ecclesiastes 12 and 11. See what we get for that word assemblies on that one there. Since that's the word he used. Versus the one in the Greek. And that means a collection. I'm gonna write this word up here though. All right, it's also a feminine noun, and I wouldn't be shocked if I go back and look at it. This kahal is a feminine noun. You know what I'm saying? And when you sit back and look at it, the body is always described as the woman. out over here on Mr. Hill while we keep going. Go right up there when you get ready.
What verse is that?
That is Ecclesiastes 12 and 11. So let us look at Exodus 25 now. When we sit back and we look at the gathering together of the assemblies, what we really looking at is the gathering together of the body. You see what I'm saying? That's what we actually witnessing. That's what we're looking at, the gathering together of the body. I don't know if that one there is on there. I'll probably swing around that in a minute. Exodus chapter 25. Who knows all the things that's in the Tabernacle of Witness? Who all know what's in there?
The Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the Covenant is in there. Indeed it is. What else is in there?
The table with the shewbread.
The table with the shewbread is in there.
The menorah.
The lampstand also is in there. What's in front of it?
The veil. Made of purple, right?
I believe it's purple. I think it's purple. We can look in Numbers chapter 4. That's where it says. Where he tell them. We ain't getting it right now, but that's where he tell them what color it is.
This is Exodus 26, 31.
I remember number 4. We'll look at both of them. Number 25, right? And verse 1.
You said Exodus or Numbers?
I'm sorry, Exodus 25. And it says, and Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Yasharal, that they bring me an offering. I think there's some interesting things. It said, Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Yasharal, that they bring me an offering. Of every man that giveth willingly with his heart shall you take my offering. And this is the offering which you shall take of them: gold, silver, and brass, and blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hairs, ram skin dyed red, badger skin, and shittim wood, oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. Now he said, let me make me a house, right? So you know what we got to do, right? What you asked me about this morning. Hold this right here. He said, let them make me a sanctuary. I ain't put that up there yet. Let's sit back and look at it, right? We ain't dealing with that word yet, here. Look at Psalms 18. This is going to be what Troy was talking about this morning. Psalm chapter 18. Telahim 18, right? What the verse is, what I want. 18 and 3. I will call upon Yahuwah, who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. The sorrows of death encompassed me, and the floods of ungodly men, get the door for me. Ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon Yahuwah and cried to my Elohim. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills were moved and were shaken, because he was wroth. Now, anybody on this phone, what y'all take from this here when he says, in my distress I called upon Yahuwah and cried unto my Elohim, and he heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. What you take from that, Glover? Dwight? What you think about that? Because I know y'all was in the room, so y'all heard him explain. He says, in my distress I called upon Yahuwah and cried unto my Elohim. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even unto his ears. This is going back to where he said, let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. Now this man just say he heard his cry out of his set apart temple. So what does that mean? He heard my voice out of his temple. My cry came before him, even unto, because he was in distress. Say, the sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. Say, ungodly men done came through, made me afraid and all. And he say, the earth shook and trembled. And the foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken, because he was angry. Don't nobody got an idea? Anybody on this phone got an idea? Anybody want to take a crack at that? Who wants to take a crack at it? Who want to take a crack at it? Let's look at John chapter 2 and verse 18 then.
We'll talk about the temple.
Yeah, but we talking about mainly like, what did he mean he heard his cry out of his temple? Then we sit back and see how that relate to us. 2 and 18. Then answered the Yahudim and said unto him, what sign show thou unto us, seeing thou do these things? Yahusha answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, in 3 days I will raise it up. Then said the Yahudim, 46 years was this temple in building. Wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? But he spake of the temple of his body. Now let's look at 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and about verse 16, and let's look at what Paul mentions. We're going to look at when Yahusha cried and he heard him out his temple and how he heard it. What is done in the temple? What's one of the things that's done in the temple?
Sacrifice.
Sacrificing animals. And when you sacrifice them animals, what's sprinkled on the altar?
Don't.
1 Corinthians 3 and 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the of Elohim? Somebody get it though. He said, know ye not that ye are the temple of Elohim, and that the Ruach of Elohim dwell in you? If any man defile the temple of Elohim, him shall Elohim destroy, for the temple of Elohim is Kadesh, which temple ye are. So we sit back and look at the actual temple is our bodies. And what did they do at the temple? They assembled there, didn't they? They came there together for the hearing of the word, right? Because the Mashiach say, I forever taught in the temple and in the synagogues and wherever the Yahudim resorted. So when we sit back and say, I'm going to forsake that assembling of the temple, then I'm sitting back looking at, I'm forsaking the path that was revealed of the prophecy of the messenger of the instructions of the supreme authority. I'm saying, I don't see that. I don't respect that. Let's look at another place in 1 Peter chapter 2. Before we swing to Matthew 26 and look at how he heard his cry in the set apart temple. First Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. It say, unto whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Elohim and precious. Ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house, which would be a temple, right? A sanctuary. A Kadesh priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Elohim by Yahushua HaMashiach. Wherefore it is also contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect and precious, and he that believe on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore which believe, he is precious. But unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. So that goes back to what we were talking about last. Some people, he already done pointed you to have a mind to stumble and fall at it, because you already don't believe it. He said that under them that are disobedient, this is the type of brain you gonna have. This is the type of thought you gonna have.
Because you were talking about mercy and all that. Hebrews 9 and 5. I just wanted to see what your take was.
Let's see what it is. Let's swing to Matthew 26, because we're gonna work all that in, then we'll look at it. Gonna bring all that in.
Yeah, because it's about all this.
Yeah, we'll work that in. What I want, I gotta look on this app. Go to Matthew 27. My bad, not 26. (27) and 46. Matthew 27, 46. Oh, he talking about what you asked about the particularly. He said, and about the 9th hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, that is to say, my Elohim, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them that stood there when they heard that say, this man called for Elijah. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink. The rest said, let us see whether Elijah will come to save him. Yahusha, when he cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ruach. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in the twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake and the rocks rent. Now he say he heard his cry out of his set apart temple, and then he said that he shook the ground because he was angry. Why would he be angry? Because Psalms 2 and 12 say, kiss the sun. Look at Psalms 2 and 12. Just look at Psalms 2 and 12. We show you why the Most High were angry.
Kiss the sun,
Lest he be angry. He say he shook the earth in his wrath because he was angry. That's why he say to you, those of you who are disobedient, you're going to stumble at the word. You was appointed to this. You don't believe on my son. You don't believe what I say. You don't believe in the messenger who brought the instructions of the supreme authority, because he say, my father has given me a commandment what I should say and what I should speak. And I know his commandment is eternal life. So to assemble together in his body is to go into the path that has been revealed. The path that has been revealed is the Son. When we sit, it's two words for body, man. Congregation and assembly. You know what I'm talking about? Both of those is interchangeable with this man's body. You know what I'm talking about? So when you sit back and you look at, you forsake the assembling of yourselves, because anytime he say, because remember he say the congregation gathered together as one man in Nehemiah. You know what I'm talking about? And I think it said in Kings, if I'm not mistaken. Then when you always look at the calling of the assemblies, the whole house of Yasharal gathered together as one, didn't it? That's pointing to his body. So when you forsake the assembly, you're forsaking him. You know what I'm talking about? You're not forsaking you're not forsaking the gathering up with your brothers and sisters. You actually forsaking him, because he once told you have a Kadesh convocation. Assembly convocation is nothing but another word for assembly, which ain't nothing but another word for body, which ain't nothing but pointing us to that footprint of a path revealed, the prophecy of the messenger of the instructions of the supreme authority, because the whole thing is supposed to get us back to the Father. You know what I'm saying? That's the pathway revealed to the highest, that your sins might be covered. We don't look at, if we're not in this man's body, our sins ain't covered. What I said, Psalms 2 and 12. I gotta work that out. So, listen what he say, Psalms 2 and 12. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Baruch are all they that put their trust in him. So if you don't have all your trust in Yahuwah by way of Yahusha, then guess what that means? You damned then. You see them talking about, like, as hard as that may sound, we sit back and see there's no in between. It's either or. If all your trust is in him, you'll be blessed. If all your trust is not in him, you'll be damned. It ain't gonna be a little bit of blessing, a little bit of damning. Like there's no in between, there's no gray area. It's either or with y'all. See, we want gray area because that's how man mind thinks. You know what I'm saying? We can't think how he thinks. His judgment is his judgment, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And when you hear that man's judgment pronounced, it shouldn't be but one thing happen. You move to get on the right side of his judgment versus on the wrong side of his judgment. You know what I'm saying? That's what should happen.
That makes me think we don't know when if we go reprobate, if we do decide to keep doing our own will, he'll give us chance, he'll give us leeway.
He gonna warn you repeatedly before you do it.
But then once he decides to let you go,
it's over.
Can't do nothing about it.
You can't do nothing.
You don't know when that'll come.
No, you don't know when it's gonna come. What do we read in Proverbs 1, right? He say, wisdom cried out in the streets, how long will you simple ones love? How long will fools hate knowledge? He say, turn at my reproof, I'll pour my ruach unto you and make my words none unto you. He say, since you said at nothing all my counsel, he said, I'm gonna give you over to the fruits of your own heart and the devices of your own heart and the fruit of your own. He just not gonna be like, I'm gonna turn you reprobate because you didn't do what I said the first time. I'm gonna turn you reprobate when you ain't do what I told you the 1,000th time or the 150th time.
10,000 times.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't finna just keep warning you and telling you wrong, you wrong, you wrong, you wrong, you wrong. I guarantee you, if you're doing something wrong, he done sent a word to rebuke you about it. And when you continue to do it and your heart stays that hard over a continual period of time, stay like that. Stay like that. You know what I'm talking about? And you'll sit back and look at, how can somebody say that? It ain't but so many times you gonna warn somebody before you say, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? He said, I swore in my wrath, they will not enter into my rest. Before he swore in his wrath, they wouldn't enter his rest. Then people had tried him so many times.
Unnecessary.
You know what I'm saying? And he had done warned them so many times and spared them so many times that you know what ended up happening? They took his mercy for granted. You know what I'm saying? They felt like they were owed it. He said, I feel like you owe this here. To hell you going. Now let's sit back and look at something, right? He said the veil of the temple, right? Go on to get Exodus 26 and 31 and then Numbers chapter 4. Make it 30 though. And it says, thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which was showed thee in the mount. The path revealed. You know what I'm talking about? Do it just like I showed you. Remember, everything that is a manifestation on earth was a manifestation of exactly how it is in Shamahim. Hebrews 9 tells us that. Everything is the exact pattern of how it is on high. That's why he say in earth as it is in Shamahim. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, everything. Everything is supposed to be a replica of things on high. That means not just with the tabernacle and all the things, but even our behavior. That's what we were looking at last night when he say, well, why did he make us to sin? He didn't make you to sin. He made you in his image. That means he made you just like the things in Shamahim. You chose to do opposite. Don't blame that man for your wickedness. Sit back and look in the mirror and blame yourself. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I had to tell that brother last week. Don't you be blaming that man for that. Well, why he just ain't making no obey? He did make him no obey when he say, don't eat that. You know what I'm talking about? Don't do that. I just gave you my mind and my heart and my way. That's what we were talking about earlier. You know why y'all love David? Because David had a mind like y'all. David got y'all's mind. David got y'all's mind. You ain't sitting back looking at, you don't got y'all's mind. You can read about certain kings where it said they had a perfect heart. I mean, they had a complete mind to serve y'all. They had y'all's mind. And the reason why they had y'all's mind, because they had y'all's word or thoughts in their heart. They pushed their thoughts out the way and let y'all's word fill it. That's why he say, turn at my reproof. I pour my ruach unto you. Remember when we looked at last night? I bring all the word that I spake unto you under remembrance. That means you'll remember what I said unto you. My words will be your words. My thoughts will be your. You hear some people say, let your mouth be my mouth. You know what I'm talking about? That means let me speak your words and not my own. But we don't have a mind of let your mind be my mind. Let your ways be my ways. You know what I'm talking about? We don't think like that. Because you don't actually want his thoughts. You want your thoughts and his thoughts. And then 99.9% of the time, your thoughts win. Verse 31. Thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen of cunning work. With cherubims shall it be made. And thou shalt hang it up upon 4 pillars of shittim wood overlaid with gold, and their hook shall be of gold upon 4 sockets of silver. Now, when you sit back and you look at it, right? What that sound like? What that sound like?
He said that it'd be laid over wood.
Laid over with wood, but how many points did he say it had?
Oh,
Nailed.
make you think about that.
Nailed. But now, when the Mashiach got on the stake, they put some robes on him, didn't they?
Yeah.
What colors were they?
Scarlet.
One was scarlet, the other one was what?
Bows. God and garments and bows.
And he had a purple one on too.
Yeah.
Threw all that on him. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, he didn't have him on him when he was up there, but it was representation that he was the veil or the thing that had everything covered. You know what I'm talking about? So when we see the veil was rent at his death, you actually seeing now the path been revealed.
Now you know which way to go.
Now you know which way to go. Why? Because of the prophecy of the messenger of the instruction. He said, my Father sent me. I didn't come of myself. That means he a messenger. Which take us back to what? Malachi chapter 2. You know what I'm saying? He said that they should seek the priest's lips should keep knowledge. They should seek the law at his mouth. But he's the messenger of Yahuwah of hosts. But just like we talked about last night, the wise man's words are despised and they're not remembered. They're not remembered. You don't remember them because you don't want to remember them because you hate the man. Because you hate the man. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't nobody want to sit back and say. You hate the man. You sitting back looking at that. I don't really want to do what I don't really believe what I don't really think I'm going to get this reward. I don't think it's real. But it happens. But when those thoughts creep in, that's the adversary that's creeping them in.
You gotta acknowledge that.
You know what I'm saying? You have to acknowledge the adversary is creeping that in. Because Yahuwah's not going to send that to you. So if it ain't coming from him, where is it coming from? Let's look at Numbers chapter 4. Numbers 4 and 5. Make it 4 and 4. I heard a dude the other day talking about, yeah, see, you got the age of accountability, 20 years old. Man, that book don't say nothing about you accountable at no 20.
Nowadays, they count.
No, he said that all those 20 and upward ain't getting in.
Nah, it say that. What?
There's no such thing as the term of age of accountability nowhere in the book.
It's talking about
Accountability of
time.
what?
It's talking about coming up the time, coming up. To
But see, when they talking about accountability, they talking about
Oh, knowledge ability. Oh, no.
No, they talking about-
come up and do it like the service.
Yeah, see, I ain't talking about, see, when I said,
30. Say 30.
I said, I ain't even talking about that.
I know he's talking about like, hey, you know this is
30 years and upward,
do wrong.
to 50
Yeah,
years
'Cause
old,
then
all that entry
you
into the
can
host
see it
to the
early
work and determine-
when they talk about if your son, if you keep telling him to do this and
He
do
say,
that.
kill him.
Period. So
Stone
you
it.
don't know what age that's at.
There is no age of accountability. I know Christians say it's like 12. Like your sins fall on your parents till you 12. No, nigga, your sins fall on you, nigga.
In Exodus
Christians
16.
teach that. Baptist church teach that.
But guess what? IOG teach that 20 years old is the age of accountability.
Oh, man.
That once you at 20, you're accountable for you're not accountable for any of your sins until you turn 20. That's a lie from hell.
But that's a lot of gray area, right?
What? That's 20 years. I got a 20-year run.
You become aware of it probably about 10, 11.
You know when you accountable? When the word comes.
Nah, it say when they ask why. Why do we have to do this? They say that's when you start breaking down that.
When the word comes.
Yeah.
Because the book say teach your children. He ain't say how old to start teaching them, did it? When the word comes, that's when you
He
accountable.
said when they rise, when they lay down, when they go in, and when they come
When the
out.
word comes, you accountable. You don't even sit back and realize every one of these children here is accountable. Some of them heard it in the womb. You know what I'm talking about? They may can't talk, but they done heard it though.
You heard how he told how that block was shit up. When you rise and you lay down and you go in and come out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's him.
I mean, I can see.
I know you can see, but
When he said when you walk amongst the way, he will walk and teaching them in the cities, right? He said when you lie down, he taught the spirits in prison, right? When you get up, he taught them when he resurrected. You know what I'm talking about? Taught all my children. Ain't no excuse. Ain't nobody slide. I taught y'all that was here. I taught y'all that was dead. I taught y'all when I got up. I said I'm a little tired.
They already knew at that point.
They up there, Shamahin, they already knew. But matter of fact, no, he had to show them too.
Because he said I was going away because they didn't know this.
They didn't even know.
They didn't know what?
I remember.
The Malachian didn't know
I
either.
remember
Know what?
That he would how the story was gonna play out, how the scriptures was. They didn't know
They
either.
didn't know.
They didn't know.
Hold on, since I said that, man. Look at 1 Peter chapter
He
1.
which is above.
Look at 1 Peter chapter
They
1.
didn't know how. They didn't know who it was. Like they didn't know how.
They didn't know who Yahusha was?
They didn't know how it was going to go down.
Like
they
it
didn't know
wasn't.
the plan. They knew who they was
They
on
knew the
Messiah,
script.
but they didn't know the plan how it was gonna be delivered
They know.
because it wasn't revealed.
1 Peter chapter 1. I'll show you.
Oh,
what
that's why I like in Revelation when he said,
I'm finna show you. 1 Peter chapter 1. I'm finna show you.
It's in one of the other
1 and 10.
lost books too.
And then it's in Matthew 13. We'll look at that too. I'm gonna show you. He said, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the favor that should come unto you, searching what manner of time the Ruach of Mashiach, which was in them, did signify, when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Mashiach and the esteem that should follow, unto whom it was revealed, that not unto themselves, but unto us they did minister the things which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel, unto you which the Ruach HaKodesh sent down from Shamahim, which things the Malakim desire to look into, because they want to know. He had to come up there and tell them too. Look at Matthew 13. and 16. He say, but Baruch are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For truly I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you have seen and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you have heard and have not heard them. And if you already know, see, hold on, get Revelation 22, and I'll show you how Malachi fit in that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say like in the Revelation scripture, that's when he was like, who is worthy to open the seals to let out that, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that was, I think that was one of them. One of the Malachi told John to weep not because the son of, but he hadn't taught him by then.
He'd already been risen.
He had already been risen and went back. So he hadn't told him by then because they didn't know.
Yeah, that was because they said who's worthy to open the
But,
seals. So
but but see, the Malachi was talking to John.
oh,
John was weeping. You know what I'm saying? And the elders were weeping. And he was telling the man, don't weep. It's somebody who done did that. Say the line of Yehuda had prevailed. So the Malachi, remember the Malachi sending his son to John to show him what's shortly to come. Because it's been revealed to them now. But look at Revelation 22 and 9. Well, 22 and 8. And I, Yachanan, saw these things and heard them. And when I heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the Malachi, which showed me these things. Then saith he unto me, see thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship Elohim. And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He which is filthy, let him be filthy still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. He that is Kadesh, let him be Kadesh still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. The reason why I read the rest of that is because he said, whatever you is, stay like that. You wicked, stay like that. You know what I'm talking about? Because obviously that's what you want. That's what, then he come back behind that and say what? And I'm going to give every man according to what he earned. You know what I'm talking about? But what you sit back and look at is you see how he say, I'm of your fellow servant of your brethren, the prophets. And he say the prophets inquired diligently of the salvation was what was to come. And they said the Malachi wanted to look into these things because the Malachi prophets too. You know what I'm talking about? They didn't know. He had to come. There was only two people that knew. The Father and the Son. That's it. Only one. Who the one to reveal the path? Who the messenger of the prophecy of the instruction? Mashiach is. So if the Malachim know, they'd be on the same level as he is. He said, which at any time did he say to any of the Malachim, you are a son? None of them. So they didn't know. They didn't know. You know what I'm talking about? They didn't know. They might have had it. They knew he was the son of Elohim, but they didn't know how this was going to go down. Come on back to number 4. This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most Kadesh things. When the camp set forward, Aaron shall come and his sons, and they shall take down the covering of the veil, and cover the ark of the testimony with it, and shall put thereon covering of badger skin, and shall spread it over a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put it in the staves thereof. Hold on. And upon the table of the shewbread. Because we got to look at the shewbread too, right? They shall spread a cloth of blue, and put thereon the dishes and the spoons and the bowls, and covers to cover withal, and continual bread shall be thereon. And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with the covering of badger skin, and shall put in the staves thereof. And they shall take a cloth of blue, and cover the candlestick of the light, and his lamps, and his tongs, and his snuff dishes, and the oil vessels thereof, wherewith they minister into it. And they shall put it, and all the vessels thereof, with a covering of badger skin, and shall put it upon a bar. And upon the golden altar they shall spread a cloth of blue, and cover it with a covering of badger skin, and shall put the staves thereof. And they shall take all the instruments of the ministry wherewith they minister in the sanctuary, and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering of badger skin, and shall put them on a bar. And they shall take away the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple cloth thereon, and they shall put it upon all the vessels thereof where they minister about, even the censers of the flesh hooks, and the shovels, and the basins, and all the vessels of the altar, and they shall spread upon it a covering of badger skin, and put to the staves of it. And Aaron and his sons shall make an end of covering the sanctuary, and all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is to set forward. After that the sons of Kohath shall come to bear it, but they shall not touch any Kadesh thing, lest they die. Now what does this sound like? All these things, they got to cover up the lamps, right? They got to cover up the altar. Notice the colors, right? The same colors of the robes they put on Mashiach, right? But why is this important when he say at the hold on, what's the verse at? At the taking down the covering of the veil, you got to do what with it? Cover the ark, right? Let's go look at about John 19.
So you're covering ark with the veil.
You got to take the veil and cover the ark with the veil.
Yeah.
When you take down the tabernacle, basically what he's telling them is the deconstruction. When we got to take the tabernacle of witness and move, we got to deconstruct all this stuff.
The same way.
You know what I'm talking about? And now you got to cover it up. So if he heard his cry, which we ain't got to that part with his cry yet, finish that out. If he heard his cry in his set apart temple, and Mashiach say his body is the temple, so when he come off the stage, he got to be deconstructed then. You know what I'm talking about? He say put a scarlet robe on him, scarlet linen on him. If it's scarlet, that means guess what? That man's body was blooded. So guess what happened when they put the linen robe we're gonna read on him in John 19? It became scarlet then. And he said you got to take this same table of shewbread and cover that with it. You know what I'm talking about? They had to do all that with it. And you know what that linen and all that stuff, you covering all that stuff is really showing us about? Covering your sins. Covering your sins. Your sins are covered now. Because what was done in the tabernacle of witness, all the vessels of the ministry, it was to make offerings for the reconciliation of the people for their sins. And when you deconstruct the tabernacle, you had to put a cloth to cover these vessels. Remember he said in a great house there's vessels of what? Gold and silver. Some vessels are vessels of wood. Those that are purged are meat for the master's use. So you looking at them vessels, that's us, our sins are covered. That's how we supposed to look at that. And then still we gonna deal with the mercy seat and all that stuff and sitting back looking at why some people come to the mercy seat and get killed because you're filthy. You didn't come out of this man after the due order. If you're going to approach to the mercy seat, you got to approach after the due order. Remember the people died during the time of David? He said, because we didn't do it after the due order. So you want to seek Yah how you want to seek him and think you're going to come up to the mercy seat? Kill it. Kill it. But at the same time, those who come with a pure heart sprinkled from a pure conscience who come unto the mercy seat, I will receive them. Because now you can come unto it and not die. See, you couldn't come unto it because at that time, because the mercy was shut up unto you. Now you can come unto it and not die.
In Hebrew, the word for mercy is rakum, which is compassion.
And you know he showed compassion on the regular. Dang, I ain't got that page in this book.
Come.
19 and about what? 39. No, about 38. He said, after this, Yosef of Arithmia, being a disciple of Yahusha, but secretly for fear of the Yahudim, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Yahusha. And Pilate gave him leave. And he came therefore and took the body of Yahusha. And they came also Nicodemus, which also first came to Yahusha by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100-pound weight. We already read about all that aloe and all them ointments and all that stuff you supposed to bring. Then took they the body of Yahusha and wound it in linen clothes with the spices, as the manner of the Yahudim is to bury. Because now we have to take the tabernacle of witness and move it. You know what I'm saying? Because when they did all that there, it was at the deconstructing of the tabernacle of witness. Now we got to take it, cut, because we got to move it now. Now, in the place where he was crucified, there was a guard, and in the guard a new sepulchre was wherein never was man yet laid. There laid they Yahusha therefore, because of the Yahudim preparation day, for the sepulchre was nigh at hand. So let's get to this Ark of the Covenant part, right? But let's see how they heard it, right? Let's go to Hebrews 5 and 7, Hebrews chapter 11. Make it 5 and 5, cool, so they know who we talking about. So also Mashiach esteemed not himself to be made a high priest, but he said unto him, Thou art my son, today have I begotten thee. He also saith in another place, Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. The days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard, and that he feared. And though he were a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all that obey him. So that means we're going to have to learn to suffer, to learn obedience too. He suffered in the flesh to cease from sin. we're going to have to suffer in the flesh to cease from sin. So the same way, if we are part of his body, and his body is the temple, and we the temple of living Elohim, that means if we die with him, then that same scarlet, blue, and purple cloth that was laid on the Ark of the Covenant, that was laid on the vessels of the ministry, will be laid on us. I mean, those sins are covered. You know what I'm saying? That's where the faith of Mashiach come in. Your sins to be covered. Look at Hebrews 11. Because we got to look at it and see, well, how did he hear him out of his Kadesh temple if he say, my Elohim, why have you forsaken me? How did he hear him? Hebrews 11:3. 11:4. He say, by faith, Abel offered unto Elohim a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, Elohim testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speak. Well, let's look in Genesis chapter 4 and let's see. He was dead, but how did he speak?
When he said he heard his blood crying from the
Yeah. Genesis chapter 4, verse 9. Genesis 4 and 9. And Yahuwah said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? He said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? He said unto him, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Yahuwah is hot now. The same way he was hot when he hit the sun in the side, what happened? Out came out blood and water, right? You know what I'm talking about? So his blood was on the ground crying out that even though he was dead, yet he spake and he was heard. That's how he cried out of his Kadesh temple. Where did that blood come up out of his body? When you sit back and you make sacrifices in the Kadesh temple, what's in there? Blood. So what cried out? Blood. Where do we get the mercy? His blood. Just like we were talking about. It's the blood that the son of Elohim shed. It's why our sins can be remitted.
In Leviticus 17 said the life is
It's in the blood. I was able to give you life through this man's blood. You know what I'm talking about? So, and then obviously he say put badger skin. You sit back and find linen. If this man's body is covered in blood and you wrap it in linen, guess what happens to this here? It's blood stained. Because they went into the linen napkin and found it where it laid. It was blood stained. The tokens of his virginity, the tokens of his uprightness, that our sins might be covered. You know what I'm saying? So then we had to sit back and look at, we got to be covered with that same blood-stained linen garment. That same blood, that same badger skin, scarlet, blue, and purple got to be on you too. Then he said you put that on there so the shewbread is before him continually. That goes back to when he sat back and said that he's at the Father's right hand to make intercession for us continually. Because the shewbread up there. Because he said I'm the bread of life and the life I'm going to give is my flesh. So me sitting right here, the shewbread is before the man continually. So when you see this table of shewbread in the tabernacle, this just ain't no table for no bread. This to show you that the Son will forever be with the Father to make intercession on our behalf. That's what it's there for. When you look at before you come in the tabernacle witness, you got the laver. And you know what the laver symbolized? The mean, water, the purification, the washing of the body, not just of the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but of a good conscience towards Elohim. Because then we read in Hebrews 11, to wash your conscience with sprinkling of pure water. So you sit back and look at the word is also considered in some places to be water, and you sit there and hear it, and you don't change, you don't have a pure heart. And we want to get mad at the word because the word, that's why he say that they hate him that rebuke in the gate. The poor man's wisdom is not, remember, his words are despised. Because you thinking you hating the poor man, you hating Yahuwah. Because that's his word. Don't get mad at his word. Get in line with his word. Period. You know what I'm talking about? That's what it is. If I was in the same boat, I'm like this here, yeah, boy, I've been listening to the word, boy, but I've been sinning 9,000. And then come tell me this here, like, boy, you going to hell. And show it to me. What I'm going to say? Well, you don't believe this book? Obviously not. Well, what you gonna do about it? I need to repent. That's what should be heard. There should be some level of contrition and conviction, not excuse making. Instead, how can you sit back and hear, I don't believe the book, I sin, and then still go sin right after that? Do you know what type of heart that shows you? Who you got? Cause boy, once you get hit, you're gonna be like this here. Well, I wouldn't care what the leg read. Boy, I bet I don't go do that. Like once you like say if you didn't get hit before, but you got hit right then, you gonna be like, no. Niggas be like, well, you wanna hit this joint? No. Well, you just spoke with me? No. Absolutely not. You'll be so terrified and realize, boy, I could be I could be done if I go do this. Like you don't never know when that last sin you commit is gonna be the last sin you commit. Meaning that I'm done with you. Not that you necessarily die.
Well, you die, but you don't die.
You know what I'm saying?
Shall not surely die.
You know what I'm saying? But that nigga that was
You covered the Hebrew 9:5.
No, we still. Yeah, I know. We got the word. Got to be patient. We ain't got nowhere to go. It ain't 5 o'clock yet. Let's look at Exodus 30 and 18, and Exodus 20 and 24. We'll do Exodus 20 and 24 first. Look at the altar, right? Because we got to work all this stuff with the Ark of the Covenant. Because in the most set apart place is the Ark of the Covenant. All they just sent back because he asked me about that this morning. Exodus 20 and 24. Listen to what he tell you now. Listen to what he say, and I'm gonna see who catch it. Exodus 20 and 24. Make it 23 though. Matter of fact, make it 22. It says, Yahuwah said unto Moses, Thou shalt say unto the children of Yasharal, You have seen that I have talked with you from Shamahim. You shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you, gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. Dang, I slipped too far. An altar of earth shalt thou make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep, and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou shalt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it with hewn stone, for if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by steps unto my altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon. Now what you think this could mean?
The earth, it makes me think about man being created from the earth, and that could be the altar of earth.
He says it's an altar of earth, right?
Yeah.
Gonna put your peace offerings, your burnt offerings,
And then
your sheep and your oxen in all the places where I record my name.
And
They're
then
talking about like with the steps, like, you know what I'm saying? Make sure.
We're gonna get
like at church, they be having steps leading up to the altar. So
really? I never knew that. Let's deal with one thing at a time. Go to Galatians 4 and 1. Let's see this altar of earth. Matter of fact, don't even go to Galatians 4 and 1. Go to Hebrew 10 and 5, and let's see what the altar of earth is. He said, make you an altar of earth. Then he turned around, he said, if you make one of hewn stone, make sure you don't lift no tool upon it, you're going to pollute it. So we're going to see how that again? Virgin birth. Hebrew 10 and 5. Make it 4. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Wherefore, when he come into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou would not, but a body hast thou prepared for me. As you already mentioned, dust and ashes. So niggas say, he wasn't no altar. He was an altar. He said, make an altar of earth. What was Mashiach made from? Dust and ashes. He became a man. Altar of earth. That same altar is where your burnt offerings and your peace offerings come up. Was he not a burnt offering? Was he not the peace offering? Was he not the peace offering that he could reconcile us back to Elohim, that we might have shalom with him? He was all that. That got that, dude. He said, in burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou would have no pleasure. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It's written of me to do thy will, O Elohim. Above, when he said sacrifice and offerings and burnt offerings and offering for sin thou would not, neither have pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. So he said, wherever you made this altar at, it's going to be the place where I record my name at, and you'll be blessed, right? He said, obey him, my name is in him. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not, right? So if he the altar of earth, and he sacrificed himself, you know what I'm talking about? On the state, then guess what that means? Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm what? So when he the altar of the earth, and you in his name, then guess what that means? Then his name is that he can bless you wherever he at then, because he's in the altar of earth. So when you turn around, let's go back and let's read this. Let's come on back to verse chapter 20. Because remember now, he's saying, in all the places I will come unto thee and bless thee. For him to come unto him, you had to believe that Yahusha died, rose for your transgressions, as the scripture has said. And he said, then I will come unto you. How will he come unto you? By the Ruach HaKodesh. So again, were you made perfect by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith? You see how that come right back full circle, same thing. Because he say, then where I record my name, I'll bless you. So the only way I can come unto you is if you believe. I can't come to you if you don't believe. And then he say what we read in 2 Chronicles 15, right? Seek me, and you'll find me. You know what I'm talking about? When we look at verse 25, if thou shalt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. Hewn stone mean that's something that been worked on, right? He said, for if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Well, we already read Mashiach with the chief cornerstone, right? Well, let's look at Matthew chapter 1, and let's see if he lifted up a stone on this altar to pollute it. Matthew 1, as a matter of fact, 18, just 18. Now the birth of Yahushua HaMashiach was on this wise. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found of child of the Ruach HaKodesh. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily. But while he thought on these things, behold, the Malachim of Yahuwah appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, but that which conceived in her is of the Ruach HaKodesh. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahusha, and he shall save his people from their sins. The altar is what is made atonement for the sins, right? We know in another place, she said, how shall I have a child seeing I've what?
Being stricken in the head.
Seeing I've known no man. So that means, guess what that means? No tool came upon that hewn stone. No tool came upon that hewn stone. Because what was created in her was created by the Ruach HaKodesh, or the word of Elohim.
It's funny because when people say, that's you saying that y'all can't produce. That's you saying.
Well, there's a reason why they get caught up in that is because of the literal definition of the word maid or virgin. And I was talking to a brother about that, and I say, bro, it means woman of marriageable age. I say, bro, but go back and look in our law. A woman who was of marriageable age, she would have not had sex. If she was found to have sex, she would have been stoned because she played the whore in her father's house. So again, the law show you a virgin is someone who has never had sex. If you knew the law, you wouldn't open your mouth and say, it just means woman of marriageable age. Go back and look in the law and see what the law tells you. Because you got tokens of virginity, dummy.
Big dummy.
The tokens of virginity show that this woman has not been touched.
You reminded me of Fred Sanford when you said dummy at the time. I don't know about that.
You know what I'm saying? What do you want, you big dummy? You know what I'm talking about? But in all seriousness, though, at the same time, because see, there's a difference between somebody not knowing and somebody who's a dummy. Because you got dudes around here saying that this man was not born of a virgin, going against the script. Well, now we look in Genesis chapter 2, we already know this here. No man tilled the ground. Here come Adam, no man worked that ground, virgin birth. We don't need Isaiah chapter 7 for no virgin birth. Now we got another witness in the law, Exodus 20. Don't use no hewn stone. Can't no tool come upon that. That means can't nobody touch that. You know what I'm talking about? Can't. That means ain't nobody on it.
I wrote a song, I wrote a little hook to the beat, to the coffee. I wrote a little hook to that.
That nigga that crazy. Exodus chapter 30, verse 18. They might have done tapped out if niggas' phones died. Exodus 30 and 18.
Smooth, man.
I ain't hear no hang up.
Yeah, sometimes you won't even hear it hang up. Somebody been on, you won't even hear it. You know what I'm talking about? You won't hear it every time.
Straight drop.
Straight drop. 30 and 17.
You just wait for everybody to hang up, and I hit that.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Thou shalt make a laver of brass, and his foot also of brass to wash withal. And thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and thou shalt put water therein. For Aaron and his son shall wash their hands and their feet thereat. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water that they die not, or when they come near to the altar of the ministry to burn offering made by fire unto Yahuwah. So, when you turn around and you look at it, right? In order for you to come under Yahuwah, you got to be what?
Washed.
Let's look at Acts chapter 22. Let's see. You got to be washed. All this here is this is the path revealed, the prophecy, because all this here, that tabernacle of the witness is where the people come to assemble at. Don't we read in Numbers chapter 10 and say when they hear the trumpet, they all gathered at the door of the assembly? So in order for them to get there, all these vessels in this house actually got to point to this. You know what I'm talking about? just say? Acts 22. 22 and by 14. It said, he said, the Elohim of our fathers have chosen thee, that I should know his will, and see that just one, and should hear the voice of his mouth. For thou shalt be his witness unto all men of what thou hast seen and heard. And now why tarry thou? Arise and be immersed, and wash away thy sins, calling on the name of the Master. What allowed them sins to be washed away? Because when you came up out that water, you became a new creature. When Mashiach died and rose, your sins were washed away. So that's what that symbolizes when you get immersed into his death. That's what that labor. Before you can come into the tabernacle of congregation, you got to be washed. Then you can come in. Because we already say now you are made priest, a Kadesh priesthood to make spiritual sacrifices under Elohim by Yahushua HaMashiach. Well, you can't come in to make that sacrifice until you've been washed. And you can't sit back and look at it, and then you got to become one with that altar of earth or hewn stone. You got to be made one with it. Let's go back to that one thing you said about them steps. We got one more thing.
You say that though. Not really, never really think about it. They do. I can't think of one church I've ever been in where they didn't have steps leading at all.
They probably took it straight from that.
Yep. Bird's eye view. Bird's eye view.
But the law said don't do it because you don't want to see somebody's nakedness.
What you said, 28? What is it, 26? Oh, that's 20. My bad. Okay. Verse 26 said, neither shalt thou go up by steps unto my altar, that they see that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon. So he said you shouldn't go up by steps. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no.
So he said that your nakedness is not seen. So let's look at something in the language then.
What?
All right. When we look at nakedness, we have urva, and it means nudity, shame, indecency, hold on, or improper behavior. Improper behavior. Improper behavior. When we have steps, we have malah, which what comes up. Thought. Oh boy. He say neither should you come up. He say one of the meaning of this word in Hebrew is thoughts. Thoughts. So when we turn around and we look at it and it say that it be not discovered, to uncover or remove. So when we look in the law and it says you shall not go up by your thoughts unto my altar, that your improper behavior be not discovered.
So you think you can do what you want?
You think you can come serve me how you want to serve. Don't come up here with that. You know what that goes back to? Don't bring me any type of sacrifice. Don't bring me no sacrifices with spots, wrinkles, and blemishes. I ain't gonna take them. You know what I'm saying? So when we actually look in our language, neither shall you go up by your thoughts under my altar, that your improper behavior be not seen. This is going back to what? If you came up to the Ark of the Covenant with your transgressions, you died, right? See, now we're going to sit back and we're going to look at all that, right, with the Ark of the Covenant, right? Go ahead and let's get Genesis chapter 3. Because we were talking about this morning. We work all that in and we're going to wind it in and kill it right here. 3 and 23. We didn't get to, I knew I wasn't going to get to the other things. I'll write them characters down before we leave. Genesis 3 and 23. He said, therefore, matter of fact, I'm sorry, make it 21, 22. And Yahuwah Elohim said, behold, man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. Now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore, Yahuwah Elohim sent him forth from the garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man and placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. So basically, he put that sword right there to keep that path from being revealed. This is hidden for a time. You understand what I'm saying? Now you got cherubims on each side, right? Flaming sword protecting the tree of life, right? Now let's go turn around and let's look at the Ark of the Covenant in 25th chapter of Genesis. Exodus, I'm sorry. 25. Somebody got a real bright orange.
thought you saw I had a real bright orange. I'm like, yeah, sure.
No, I'm talking about you can smell him.
That's what you call that loud, like you said.
That pad.
That loud. Yeah. That would touch the senses right there.
Good joy. Good joy.
Exodus chapter 25, verse 16. Thou shalt put it into the ark of the testimony which I shall give thee, and thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold of beaten work. Shalt thou make them and the 2 ends of the mercy seat. Make 1 cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall you make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Towards the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubim be. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. So now they're covering the mercy seat the same way them cherubims were covering the tree of life, right? Then you turn around and look at what was covering the mercy seat in the tabernacle, the veil. So you couldn't see it. So let's look at 2 Corinthians. Open the door for 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 14. But then when Mashiach died, the veil was rent. You know what I'm talking about? So that meaning a revealing. The prophecy of the messenger of the instructions of the supreme authority. Now they've been revealed. 3 and 14. Make it 13. Yeah, 3 and 13. Well, make it 3 and 12. He says, seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech. And not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Yasharal should not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. This going back to Moses, because he had a veil over his face. They not knowing that everything he doing is bearing witness to Mashiach. He got to have his veil to cover this up. It's not time for the path to be revealed. It's not time for the prophecy of the messenger to be known. Because guess what? Moses didn't know. Like a brother asked me, he said, did our ancestors beforehand, did they know of Yahusha? I'm like, bro, no. I say it's like a 4x100 relay. Each person was passing the baton.
So why in John he said Abraham seen my glory?
He said he seen it because he seen prophecies of it. That Genesis 15, when he seen that, he seen a prophecy of it. When he talked about he seen that burning light and all that fire, he seen it. They seen the prophecies. They didn't know what they were looking at. You got to remember, Daniel seen the prophecy. He said, I have no idea what this means. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know. Every person, Adam, passed the baton. Who he passed it to? Abel. And Abel passed it to Seth. And Seth passed it to Noah. And Noah passed it to Abraham. Abraham passed it to Isaac. He passed it to Jacob. All the way on down to Mashiach, who is the anchor. Grab it. Now it's over with.
Ain't no race no more. It's over.
It's over with. But like he was literally asking, did they pray to Yahusha? I'm like, but if they did that, why did he even come in the flesh? They did not know.
Yeah.
They did not know. It wasn't for them to know. As we done already read in First Peter.
They didn't need to because it was already intercessor
In place.
There's a phase 1, then there's a phase 2.
Well, not even just the intercessor being in place. It wasn't time. You got to realize, how could they know him and the story ain't complete? If Moses just did his, Yahusha son of Nun got to do his part. And then Nehemiah got to come and do his part. And Ezra got to come do his part. Isaiah and Hezekiah and Manasseh and all these men got to come do their part. You see what I'm saying? So if they know before, you can't know a story before it's complete.
Yeah, because Daniel was basically saying it was like a son of man.
Well, it was like the same when you saying the son of Elohim, you sit back and look at what is he going to describe the son of Elohim? Look like a Malachim.
Come on.
Because remember, it's shining. You know what I'm saying? That's what he gonna say. They didn't have the knowledge of knowing there's a literal son of Elohim, a only begotten of the Father. They didn't know that. You gotta remember, David got to fulfill it. Abner, Solomon. You know what I'm saying?
What about Psalms 118? Sit down there right hand.
Psalm 110, he say, sit down to my right hand. He say, Yahuwah said unto my master. You got to remember, they getting the prophecy. They seeing a vision, but they don't know what it means.
They don't physically know that there's gonna be a man.
They don't really, they have no idea what, remember he say many prophets and righteous men have desired to see the things that you have seen and have not seen him. And they don't know who it's talking about. They were inquiring while the Ruach of Mashiach was in him. What does this mean?
What delivery?
What is this talking about? It's not for you to know. You'll know when he come preach to y'all in prison. Then you'll know.
That's where they're gonna be at during that time.
You know what I'm saying? Because dude, like, so Abraham died, he never heard of Mashiach, so you say. You know what I'm talking about? We got booked. That man went and preached to them and showed himself. This is me, let me show you. Ha, 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 ha. So now they quickened the life because he done came and showed them.
And that always confused me when I was a kid when people would talk about it. Like, oh, he died and then he talked to the spirits in the grave. And they, because I remember them saying that, but it was real blotchy. Like, it wasn't a complete.
Indeed, but he went and did it though. Listen what he say right at verse 14. But their minds were blinded until this day, remain the same veil untaken away in the reading of the old covenant, which veil is done away in Mashiach. But even unto this day when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. They can't, it's covered up. So that same covenant of the ark, they can't come to the ark of the covenant, right? So that same, they can't come to the Son. Same veil on their heart, they can't come to the Son. Therefore, they can't get life. They can't approach to that altar. They can't approach to the altar. Because they say the mercy seat, that means it's symbolizing that this is the place where you come to get compassion. You couldn't come to it at that time. Why? Because it wasn't time for you to come to it. That's why you died when you came unto it. You know what I'm saying? Like when they went and touched it and David was upset. He said, how will we get it here? And then he realized we didn't seek him after the due order. How didn't we seek him after the due order? Because we tried to come up under our own steps. Now our sin done been discovered. So let's look at something, right? What that is, Luke chapter 24. So you got to realize something. When Mashiach get crucified and dies and the veil of the temple is rent, because you couldn't come unto the only person coming there is the high priest, right? Now the veil of the temple is rent. And now if we in Mashiach and he done made us priests to Elohim, right? We say Aaron and his sons can come in there, right? Mashiach is the high priest, right? You born of him, what that make you? So now you can come unto the veil, you can come in the veil and come to the Ark of the Covenant. You couldn't come in, he made a way for us to come unto it. It wasn't time for you to come unto it.
Everybody there, so you are children of the light.
His sons, absolutely. Now you can come unto it. You couldn't do that before. Now the veil rent, you can come to this because you couldn't come to that. 24:1 in Luke. He said, now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came into the sepulchre, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them. And they found the stone rolled away from the sepulchre, and they entered in and found not the body of the Master Yahusha. And it came to pass, as they were much perplexed thereabout, behold, two men stood by them in shining garments. Now when we turn around and look at it, right? Now you sit back and look at it, when they came unto the grave in other places, say one was up on that stone, one on each side of it, right? Right? And that's what it is. And inside that throne, in that sepulchre, what was inside of there? The master's body, right? So what the master body representative of? His body was what? Table.
The tables, the stone.
Not just that, this is exactly the tables of stone, but he say, drink. This is my blood for the new covenant for remission of sins. Take, eat, this is my body, or this is my assembly. The path which is revealed of the prophecy of the messenger of the instructions of supreme authority. When you take and you eat that bread, you sitting back telling you eating the body, you eating the assembly. So when you forsake the assembling of ourselves, you're forsaking the path that's been revealed to you.
So when he was saying, this is my bread and my body to
The apostles.
in John, so they was thinking about all the characters.
They was thinking, no, he was expounding them characters unto them, like when we looked at that last week with the bread, but they didn't know what he was talking about.
Oh, okay.
They didn't realize what he was talking about.
That was for us.
That's later. You know what I'm talking about? But at the time, they like, man, that nigga is crazy.
Like, what are you talking about?
We gonna rock with them though.
So not a lot of them didn't rock with him. A lot of them stopped walking with it.
Some of them did.
They say he asked him, does this saying offend you? And when he looked at Peter, he said, will you leave also? He said, where we gonna go? You got the words of eternal life. See, you know what a lot of people, they get offended and they want to leave. Where you gonna go?
He the only person.
He the one guy. Where you gonna go at? Because a lot of people at the end of the day, you don't want it.
Yeah, why John asked him if he was the one when he was in prison?
Because he may have not really known.
thought because
He had the forerunner and he gave him sitting back. He like this here. He say, I think that was his disciple. Are you the one? Because niggas is not sure. Niggas want to know. They want to know. You got to realize
I was
John.
saying that because when he said
John knew.
coming after me is gonna
Yeah, but see, John knew a little bit, but he didn't know everything.
No.
He knew only what had been
He only, exactly what's testified in Isaiah 40. He was only allotted to know certain things. He didn't even know certain things that were talking about himself. All he knew is I'm the one to make a way in the wilderness. He didn't know Malachi 3 was about him. He didn't know 1 Samuel 12 was about him. He didn't know that. He didn't know Zechariah 13 was about him. He didn't know Elijah was about him. He didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? That's what we sitting back looking at. The man will let you know just a little bit for that task that I need you to do. Then after that, you'll figure it out when everybody else figure it out. So when we look at them two cherubims right there in that mercy seat, you got to remember, what are the people doing? They ran up to the mercy seat. Did they die when they ran up to that? You know, ain't no Yahudim running up to no grave. That's death. That's uncleanliness. He didn't say nothing to him. Go ahead and stoop your head on in there. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead and look at that, because you didn't realize that his resurrection is the mercy of Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? They come into the mercy seat. You know what I'm talking about? Now, just like he said, well, what is that flaming sword? Well, what was in the Ark of the Covenant? Nothing but the tables of stone. The word of Elohim is sharper than any two-edged sword. That's why these people were getting cut up and slaughtered when they came to it, because you already know you ain't had no business running up on this in the first place. You didn't listen. You didn't listen. So then when we turn around and look at it, it's all emblematic of the representation of the Father sitting on his throne, or Mashiach sitting on his throne, that mercy seat. You know what I'm saying? Because what does Luke 1 tell us? He'll sit upon the throne of his father David. And he's saying, I'm sat down in my throne. You know what I'm talking about? Look at Revelation 3 and 21. Look what he takes. 3 and 21. He said, to him that overcome will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and sat down with my Father in his throne. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the synagogue. So guess what that means? Him sitting on that mercy seat, he's sitting on his throne, right? So let's sit like and look at what he said in Hebrews 4 and 13. Make it 12. For the word of Elohim is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of nephash and ruach, and to the joints and marrow, and to the discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him whom we have to do. Seeing then we have greater high priest that is passing in Shamahim, Yahusha, the son of Elohim, let us hold fast our profession. For we have not a high priest which cannot be touched with the feelings of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of favor, that we may obtain mercy and find favor to help in the time of need. So what throne is he talking about? He's talking about that mercy seat. You know what I'm talking about? That's why even, matter of fact, because we talked about it earlier, I ain't got the time to just run it all the way down. You go look at Luke 23, right? The mercy seat is above everything, right? You got one thief on this side, another malefactor on the other side. You know what I'm talking about? The cherubims facing the mercy seat. Because Mashiach is up there on the stage. He above all of them, right? And what did he say? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Showing mercy. You know what I'm saying? While he's up there on the stage, his death is the mercy. You know what I'm talking about? So now we able to approach unto this throne because of the mercy. Because that's all. Why would he call it the mercy seat? That's why he say you're able to now to come unto the throne of favor, or the throne of mercy, and the help of your time. Now you can approach unto it. You couldn't approach unto it before because the veil was, you couldn't come in the most set apart place. But Mashiach is the most set apart place. Now once he died and the veil is rent, now you can approach unto the most set apart place and receive help that you couldn't get before.
But Hashua said we can't step in there.
Hey, that's how she was. Hey, Hebrews 9 and 1.
That's crazy, man.
But that's it back and showing you on Those who are disobedient to what they appointed to, they stumbling. He's a rock of offense. And that's going back to what we started back in Exodus 25. I prepared me a sanctuary that I might dwell. So then we turn around because we can come unto it. Now we can make ourselves a sanctuary that we might dwell. And then also what we're looking at it, being a spiritual priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifice, you got to be able to come into the tabernacle to do this. Which means before you can step in there, you got to wash in the laver. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be immersed and let your sins be washed away. Then you got to be a partaker of the shewbread. I ain't even touched the lampstand. You got to be a partaker of the shewbread. You know what I'm talking about? Because then now you done ate his body. Now you can enter into the most set apart place to actually come unto the ark. So you can get that mercy. And where is that mercy contained in? In them 2 tables of stone, which is contained in it, which is the word of Elohim, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, his body. Straight like that. 9 and 1. Then truly the first covenant I had also ordinances of divine service in a worldly sanctuary. For there was a tabernacle made, first wherein was this candlestick, so to give light into the house that you might see where you're going. And the table, and the shewbread, which is called the sanctuary. And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the Kadesh of all, which had the golden censer, and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had the manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant, and over it the cherubims of esteem, shadowing the mercy seat, of which we cannot now speak particularly. All he telling you is we can't talk about that right now. We can't go into particulars. You know what I'm saying? Because he say it's shadowing the mercy seat. So that means that shadowing of the mercy seat was pointing to something else later on down the line, and we can't talk about that right now. You know what I'm saying? Because he said we can't speak now particularly.
So yeah, particularly just saying,
Can't go into no detail about this right now. You know what I'm saying? But hallelujah for Yahusha. We just clock this thing. Because this thing about 2.5 hours. Long.